So
Good
hello, a good evening. So give me a moment while I pull up my slide. Okay. Okay, so how are we doing this evening? And I want to welcome us to today's session, right? So today's session is going to be very, very, very enlightening, very impactful, because one of the things persons struggle with is, oh, okay, where do I start from? How do I secure a job as a full stack data scientist and also as a data engineer, right? So I will be having some persons join us on the call. We are still expecting a whole lot of persons join us on this call, right? But before we proceed, I want to know, like, it's an exercise that we normally do. Where are you joining us from? Where are you joining us from? Where are you joining us from? Are you in Nigeria? Are you in the UK? Are you in Canada? Where exactly are you? Because that's the amazing thing of having, like, an online training, a virtual training, right? You get to meet persons from different scenarios. You get to meet them and you get to interact with them, right? So I can see James Adagba from Nigeria. Okay, I can see from Russia. Wow, with the whole crisis going on. So I can see from UK, that's nice. Nigeria, okay. Oh, let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. Okay, so I can see Taiwan, Nigeria, Hungary. So welcome to today's session. And as I earlier mentioned, one of the things persons struggle with, oh, okay, I want to venture into this tech parts, right? This is what I want to do. This is what I'm dedicating my time to for the next couple of months. But then again, what are the strategies? What are the techniques what techniques do I need to employ, right, to deploy to ensure that, okay, I secure my job as a data scientist and also as a data professional, right? So welcome to today's session. I am Esther Genabrima. I'm a senior data associate here at 10 Analytics. So we'll be having like a short introduction of, okay, who we are at 10 Analytics, what we do before we jump right into today's session, right? So I can feel that energy from our responses in the chat, right? So I want to best believe that we are ready to learn a lot. So we are still expecting a whole lot of persons to join the session this evening, right? So moving forward, who we are at 10 Analytics, right? So if you've not heard about 10 Analytics before, that means you're living under a rock. No offense. But basically, who we are at 10 Analytics, our goal is to ensure that the Blacks, our goal is to ensure that Africans, right, they are educated, right? They acquire the knowledge, they acquire the skills, the tech skills they need to break and venture into the tech industry and then get their first job, right? So it's not just you acquiring the skills, it's not just you acquiring the 50%, right? So the other 50% where you need to, deploy some hidden tricks and tips to get your first job, we'll provide that at 10 Analytics too. So basically we offer data analytics, business analysis, data engineering, data science, financial analytics, HR analytics, and the Power Platform program, right? So our main focus for this evening is on the data science and the data engineering program, right? So yes, you've decided that, I don't know the career path to follow, but I think I'm considering data engineering or data science, right? But now we are going to be having a professional with years of experience that is going to come to you and going to teach you on, extra measures that you can take, right? And the pathway to becoming a full stack data scientist and a data engineer, right? So moving forward, we have helped over 500 persons transition, right, into tech, right? So it's not just you learning the skill, right? So we are tested, we are trusted, we have experience, and we've successfully helped individuals, break into this tech industry, right? So these are some of our achievements from the previous years, right? So you can see that, we've been published in a lot of, magazines, international and both, in Nigeria, back in Nigeria, right? So this is to show that, we are actually producing, let's say, fruits, right? It's to show that, our impact is being felt by Africans, our impact is being felt by the Black community, right? So you get access to these slides, you can, go through these materials and then, have a feel of it, right? So moving forward, this is one of the hackathons that we had this year, right? So not just we teaching you, but how do you deploy these skills in a real life scenario? So our participants were given an alumni community, right? They were even, okay, a case problem, right, that is affecting Nigerians to work on and then provide solutions to it. So this is one of the, okay, hackathons that we had this year, and we have many more coming up, right? So moving forward, we've had, okay, so many of our participants gone ahead to work with MTN, Coca-Cola, NHS, Stanbic IBC Bank, okay, Unilever, MRS, and so much more, right? So it is not just about you getting the skills, right? What techniques, what measures are you putting in place to ensure that the other 50%, you get it and you get it correctly, right? So moving forward, these are the amazing persons. These are our founder and our co-founder of Tenalytics, right? So they vetted this vision of ensuring that Africans are able to acquire this knowledge. Africans get the opportunity, get access to resources to learn, right? So this is basically it. I'll be welcoming our host for today's session, right? So he is an amazing data professional with close to a decade experience deploying data science techniques, data engineering techniques. So imagine the wealth of knowledge that is going to be passed on you today, right? So hello, Ephemena. Good evening. How are you doing this evening? Okay. So can we hear me clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay.
How are you doing today, Roima?
Very well.
All right, fantastic.
Very well.
It's good to be here. It's good to be here. Thanks for that wonderful, very wonderful introduction. All right, so permit me to share my screen so we can get started. We're still expecting quite a number of people. So how are you guys doing today? How is everyone doing today? And how's the weekend been so far? So in just one word, how has your weekend been so far? Great, amazing, stressful, boring, whatever it is. Just use one word to describe your weekend. Let me start from there before I share my screen. What is the situation? Good. All right, Olu says good. That's nice. Restful. I love that. That's actually good. All right. Who else? Who else? Any other person? Just put it in the comment section. Let's see. All right. So awesome. Cold. Interesting. Israel, where are you? Everywhere is hot. I have a fan next to me. Yeah. Let the poor breathe. James, don't worry. You'll breathe. They will breathe. Don't worry. It's fine. They will breathe. Okay. Very busy. All right. Yeah. Amazing with acting training session. Oh, fantastic. That's good. Learning is always it's always a good time to, a good investment in your time. Nigerian ABK everywhere cold. Interesting. I heard it's the rainy season, so that's actually very interesting. All right, so let's jump into the session for today. But anyways, it's going to be a very interesting one. We're going to be exploring two career paths, okay? Two interesting career paths, which is data science and data engineering. Now, I get a lot of questions. They say, Mena, which one should I take? Data science or data engineering? Which one should I take? And I'm like, do you know what? Do you even know what they do in the first place? Do you know what a data scientist do? What they do on a daily basis? Or do you understand what a data engineer does? Now, data engineering is relatively new, is relatively a new field. All right. I would say relatively because if you look back 5-10 years ago, there was no role. Sorry, I'm just gonna mute everyone so that we don't get distracted like that anymore. All right. So if you want to mute yourself, you can just raise up your hand. I would ask you to unmute. Anyways, so one key thing that most people don't understand is the distinction, the difference between data science and data engineering. Now, they're like cousins, they are very close, they are the same family, but they're closely related, but they are very distinctive in the same sense. Yes, they use the same tool, the same technology, but what they use those tools to do are two absolutely distinctive, and also engaging tasks that we're going to be discussing today. So a little bit about myself. I'm the co-founder of Tenalytics. Currently I lead the business data support team with the post office in the UK. Prior to that, I've worked as a global business systems analyst. I've worked as a business intelligence developer. Currently, I do a lot more of contracts and freelance. Right. So I work as a data analytics consultant. I've worked as a data engineer, data scientist. across different organizations across the world. So to be very honest, and I tell most people, everybody thinks that you need like an advanced degree in order for you to get started in any of these career paths. And to be very honest, you don't need an advanced degree. In fact, I have a degree in economics, and that's literally what, people don't even request for it anymore because it's based on experience that people are looking out for. All right. So what are we going to be discussing today? It's very simple and straightforward. What are we going to be discussing today? So it's just 5 things we're going to be talking about. So I won't take you too much of your time. All right. And I'm going to just be as straight to the point as possible. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to get hands-on practical, using Python. All right. Using Python. A lot of people have tried learning Python and they feel like Python is a very difficult tool to learn. But to be very honest, yeah, it's it's an exciting tool to learn. All right. It's an absolutely exciting tool to learn. And the reasons why a lot of people confuse data science and data engineering is because they use the same technologies. Python is being used by a data engineer. The same Python is being used by a data scientist. Now, when somebody sees Python, they'll be like, oh, are they the same thing? Oh, they are doing the same thing. But they're absolutely two different things they're doing with Python. All right. So, and I will discuss more on that. I'll shed more light on that as we go on during the session. Now, the next part, after getting hands-on practical with Python, we talk about the pathway to becoming a data scientist or a data engineer, right? Because the whole essence of you learning data science or data engineering is not just for the fun of it, all right? It's for you to secure a better job, to get a better job, get a better pay, so on and so forth, all right? We'll also be talking about remote full-time tech relocation opportunities. So if you're looking to work remotely, all right, you want to get a remote job working for a company in the US, in Canada, in the UK, across Europe, so on and so forth, we would expose you to these opportunities in tech, working remotely and all that. Also, tech relocation opportunities, if you're looking to relocate outside the country using the skills that you have, especially in data science, data engineering, and so on, you would also fall into this category of tech relocation opportunities. Now, the next part is we have a special offer for you. So if you wait to the end of the session, we have a special offer for you. So the Analytics Growth Internship Program is something else also that would get you into your desired role as soon as possible. All right. So the Growth Internship Program and the special offer is only available for people that wait to the end of the session. So if you wait to the end of the session, you will get the recording of the session. You will get to know about the special offer and you get to know about the Analytics Growth Internship Program. So if you wait to the end of the session, you can see you have a lot of things that you'll be getting at the end of the session. All right. So let's get on track. The first thing we're going to do is discuss about data scientists, data engineer. Are they the same thing? Do they do the same work? So on and so forth. Let's talk about that. All right. So like I said, exploring these roles. These roles are doing the same thing. All right. They are doing very similar work, but they are also independent of their work. So a data scientist would use Python. A data scientist will also use SQL. All right. A data engineer also is going to be using these two key technologies, Python and SQL. But what they do with those technologies is what makes them distinctive. The difference between a data scientist and a data engineer. So today, what we're going to be doing today, what we're going to be focusing on today is Python. All right. We're going to be learning Python. We're going to be introducing you to Python because a lot of people have a preconceived idea about Python, thinking that anything that has to do with a programming language is difficult. Most times, most people feel like, oh, Python, programming language, it's going to be hard. It's going to be very difficult. Do you think you can learn Python in one day? Do you think you can learn Python in 6 weeks? Do you think everybody has one preconceived idea about learning Python? All right. And that's because there are so many materials online that would mislead people and people feel like it's difficult to learn. All right. So let me find out what people think about Python first of all, before we jump into the practical session. All right. So what do you think about which course did you do? Did you study in Nigeria? Economics. That's what I did in economics. I went to Lee City University, did economics. at Lee City University. All right. So if you have, that's exactly what I did. So what do you think about learning Python? What's your idea about learning Python? Is it difficult? Is it easy? What's your, I have absolutely no idea about Python, James. I've got Dagba. All right. Yeah, no problem. That's why you're here. And you get to see what you can learn today. All right. Any other person? What do you think about learning Python? Python is easy, Kingsley, fantastic. I love that. All right. Who else? Who else? Who else? Any other person? Any other person? I just want one or two more persons and we'll move on to the practical session. Python is for me is more understanding than other programming language, other languages. Fantastic. Python introduction is in depth, is difficult. Now, one thing about this is in depth is difficult. Is there's nothing like that. Trust me. All right. Started learning but couldn't flow through. Yeah, I taught the class about data analytics. No, it's about data science and data engineering. All right. Ed Python isn't child's play. All right. So let's test this today. All right. Let's test this particular all these assumptions today and let's see what you come up with. Okay. So I'm going to be opening up my browser and I'm going to be showing you what you need to show. Okay. So I'm still going to show you the salary range. So that's no problem. I'm still going to come back to the salary range for all the job roles that you're talking about today. All right. So I'm just going to open up my browser. So I'm just going to open up. So now the way we're going to do this program is going to be slightly different from any other programs that we have. All right. We're going to run this program slightly different. And that's because, so Oyewole is currently doing his master's in data science, but yet to learn Python. No problem. That's why we're here. I'm going to introduce it very well to Python. All right. No worry. Application, I'm going to put you through all that. Don't worry. You see what we're going to do today? Just learning some basic concepts and you see how it's actually one of the easiest things to learn. So what I'll tell you to do for people that are just joining or people that have joined the call before, we're going to be doing a practical session on Python using Python. All right. Now it's going to be very difficult for you to follow along while I'm typing at the same time you typing, because obviously I will type, then you listen to what I'm saying and try to type. So it might be slightly because we have limited time to be on the call also. All right. So what I want you to do is listen. I just want you to listen. All right. Literally, that's all I want you to do. Just listen to what I'm saying. At least before you practice, just listen. You'll get the recording for you to practice and do all that. And trust me, when you get the recording to practice, you'll see how simple, how easy it is. You remember what we're going to talk about today. All right. So it's very simple. So just listen. That's what I want you to do. All right. So step one, I'm going to be putting it in steps so that you understand. All right. Or you remember when you get the recording, you know the steps to take. So step one, go on your browser, open your browser, open any browser. I'm using Google Chrome for this. I'm going to use Google Chrome for this. All right. And in your browser, type in Google Colab. When you say collab, it's to collaborate. All right. Collaboration. All right. Let us collabo. We all know that very popular song. Collabo. I don't know, I'm terrible with music, but anyways, that's the collabo that we're talking about. All right. Google Colab. All right. It's to collaborate. So you see it here. The first thing you see here when you type in Google Colab is welcome to Collaboratory. Okay. All right. That's what we're looking for. So once you search for Google Colab, you would see welcome to Collaboratory. All right. So just click on that. Just click on it. Click on the first link that pops up. All right. And it takes you to this page. It takes you to this page. All right. When you get the recording, please feel free to practice. For now, please just listen. All right. And I'm going to click on cancel. I'm going to click on cancel. And you see file up here on the top. Click on file and new notebook. New notebook. That's what you click on. New notebook. Somebody say notebook. That's what you're looking for. All right. Click on new notebook. All right. So once you click on that, it's going to open a new tab for you. It's going to open there for you to start doing anything you want to do. Now, for the beginners, this might look like, oh, it's weird. It looks different. What's this? What's this? What's the men are doing? I will explain everything to you. All right. So first thing, when you open a new notebook, the first thing you do when you open a new notebook is to rename it, just rename it, give it a unique name so that you don't lose track of it. So I'm going to name this data science / engineer, okay, because that's what we're discussing today. Data science / engineering Python class. I just call it anything. You can call it anything too. I can all my data science engineering Python. So I'll just put June there instead of class. So I know the time period I taught this. All right. So data science engineering / engineering Python June class, whatever it is. So let me zoom in a bit so that you can see my screen very well. So I'm going to use 175. I think that should be clear enough. Okay. So now let's break it down. Like I said, just listen. Please don't try to practice along with me. All right. Just listen. You will understand it absolutely. Even after you get the recording, even before you get the recording, you'll be able to code by yourself. Trust me. All right. So what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be coding. Ah, yes. Coding. That coding that people are talking about, coder. Ah, yeah, coding. We're going to do that coding today. Do you understand? And you see how easy it is to learn. All right. So first of all, let me tell you, Google Colab is a name for like it's a weird name for now. All right. It might sound very weird to you, but let's start with Google Colab. What is Google Colab? What does it mean? What does it mean? All right. What is Google Colab? So I'm just going to be explaining, but I want you to listen. Now, what is Google Colab? Google Colab is referred to as an IDE. Okay. Now, Google Colab is referred to as an IDE. That's an acronym. IDE is an acronym. All right. And it stands for Integrated Development Environment. Oh, that's a sweet name. See, all this is fancy name. Let me just tell you the facts. When I started hearing all this big English, integrated development environment for just one technology, ID integrated, only one application is integrated. It is development, it is environment. This is what scares people away. All right, all the terminologies, all these words is what scares people away. But essentially, it's actually very simple. Integrated development environment is a very simple concept. Let me explain it to you. What does this integrated development environment, what does it mean? When I say Google Colab is an IDE, integrated development environment, what does that mean? It means that it's an environment where you can write Python code. It's an application that when you write Python inside, it will understand. Do you understand? So it's like an environment. If you go to China, for example, they don't speak English. Let's just assume they speak Mandarin or they sing whatever languages, the languages they speak. All right. And you get there and you're speaking English. They don't understand you. They won't be able to understand you. That environment, basically, when you speak there, they don't understand. But you bring a Chinese person to Nigeria also, probably we don't speak English also. We speak Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, different languages. And the person is speaking Mandarin in Nigeria. Obviously, nobody will understand. So it's based on the environment. But if you take a Chinese person to a Chinese environment and they all speak Mandarin, they will understand what they are saying. So it's the same thing. So in this particular scenario, we're saying that this environment understands Python code. This environment, integrated development environment, essentially says that when you write Python inside this environment, it will understand what you're writing. But if you write the same Python code in Microsoft Word will not understand, will not be able to comprehend what you have just written. All right. It just take it as a normal text. All right. It's not code. All right. It's the same thing. You take it to Excel. You write Python code here, you copy it and you paste it in Excel. Excel will not understand what you're writing because in that Excel environment, it's not built to understand Python code. That development environment for Excel is spreadsheet application. It is put 1 in cell 1 equals to cell C2 plus cell D3. Do you understand? That's what he understands. But when you carry Python to Excel, it's not going to understand. You carry Python to PowerPoint, it's not going to understand. You carry Python to Microsoft Word, it's not going to understand. But now they've developed an environment that allows you to write Python and it will understand what you are writing. That's what we call integrated development environment. Does that make sense? So when they're using big words like this, don't get scared. All right. Call Ifemena, I'll explain it to you. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. We are just building the knowledge. All right. So there are plenty IDEs. Don't get it wrong that only Google Colab is the only IDE. Google Colab is just one. There are so many IDEs out there. All right. There are so many IDEs out there. So you see IDE. Hey, sorry, I think I cleared that off. So there are more IDs. IDs, a plenty. All right. You would have seen VS Code. All right. It's an IDE. VS Code is an IDE. What else is there? PyCharm. PyCharm is an IDE. What else is there? Spider. Spider is an IDE. Jupyter Notebook. Notebook is an IDE. So these are all different IDs, okay, that you can use. It's like Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word is not the only Microsoft Word that you can write, you can type inside. There's Microsoft Word. There is WPS. There is Google Doc. There are so many that you can actually use. All right. So it's the same way there are plenty IDs. There are plenty Microsoft Word or Word application. It's the same way you have many IDEs. All right. Anaconda is a platform. All right. It's not an IDE. It's a platform. So Anaconda, you can leverage Anaconda's environment for data science activities and all that. So inside Anaconda, you would see the Jupyter Notebook. You would see VS Code. You would see Spider. All the IDs that we're talking about, they are all integrated inside Anaconda. All right. So Anaconda is more or less like a platform. So if you Google Anaconda, for example, somebody asked the question, that's why I'm taking this. All right. So even though you've never seen Anaconda before, at least you will learn what Anaconda. All right. See, it's a platform. So you see, the world's most popular data science platform, not an IDE. All right. So it's a platform. All right. So I think that will answer your question. Okay. Well, that's a very good question. Shows that you're following. Now, you see, anytime I'm writing my code inside this cell, I start with an hashtag. You see this hashtag? Okay, hashtags. All right. It's the other way around. They're speaking to me in Chinese and I still don't understand anything, but they are I want to learn Python. I said, okay, no problem. We'll talk about that shortly. Sorry, somebody sent me a message. Hashtags. Okay, so when you're talking about hashtags, okay, so you see this hashtag, that's an hashtag, this is another hashtag, and this is another hashtag. So hashtags essentially are regarded they are regarded as, or they are called comments. Okay, comments. Okay, so when you put an hashtag in Python, when you're writing your Python code and you put hashtag, it stands in for a comment. Comments. All right. So when you're doing your thesis, university, or you're doing your master's thesis and all that, you notice that, even when you're writing like secondary school exam, not even, don't let us go too far. Secondary school exam, you see, they'll give us that calculation in mathematics. But inside that calculation, you now say comment, X is positive or something, or X is something. All right. Just a small comment. It's not a part of the function. It's not part of the formula. All right. But you just see that small comment that, tells you more about the formula. All right. So you're writing like a differentiation function or something. You just see small notes, a small tiny comment in there that tells you more about the formula. If you remember that, or even if it's a thesis that you remember. So your thesis, all right, you wrote something voluminous, all right? You see you have footnotes that will give more light to the context of what you're saying. All right, you see, you just have the footnotes that tells you it's a part of the document, but it's not a part of the write-up. Do you understand? So it's shedding more light on the document itself. So it's just a comment, just to give more understanding. It's just to give more light to what the person is writing. All right. So that's what we call an hashtag or hashtag. Okay. All right. So they're not commands, they're just you commenting. So if you want to put a comment, all right, so that the person that sees your code next would understand what you're writing. All right. So even if you're writing Python, all right, you are likely going to be collaborating with other people in the department. So you need to be able to comment your code so that the next person that sees it will know that, oh, this is what you were trying to do. All right. You're not going to be in the organization for life. All right. So when you're building your code, you always leave comments so that the next person that picks up your code understands what you're writing. All right. So take, for example, if I send this code to you, all right, now you understand, I started with defining what Google Colab is. I gave examples of Google Colab, and now I am talking about comments. So it's easy for you to now follow through, like a documentation, it's like properly documenting your code. So you use comments to document your code so people understand what you are talking about. All right. So now for the session today, for the practical core sessions today, I think that's enough introduction about what Python is and all that. All right. So for the practical session today, we're going to be talking about data types. Okay. All right. And we'll be all right. Yes, the videos will be recorded and be sent to everyone that waits at the end of the session. So if you wait to the end of the session, you will get the recording. Okay. All right. So data types / data structures. Now, different people call it different things. Some people will say it's data structures. All right. Some people will say data types. Now, it's based on what you want, to be very honest. It's based on what you want. So, which one would you prefer, data type or data? Some people want to sound sophisticated by saying data structures, but essentially, data type, data structures are the same thing. All right, they are the same thing. So if you want to call them data types, perfect. If you want to call them data structures, also perfect. So they mean the same thing. They're the same thing. All right. So you can choose the one you want. So which one would you prefer, data type or data structures? Which one would you prefer to call it? What would you prefer to call it? What would you prefer to call it? Let me see. Let me see if I can. Data types. Okay, Olawale is in data types. Okay, that's good. Interesting. We have data types winning today. Most times people want to take data structures because it sounds somehow kind of powerful. All right, data structures, data type, anyone you call it, it's fine. All right. So let's break it down now. What is data types? All right. So we have different types of data types. We have numbers. All right. We have numbers. All right. So numbers can be divided into two. The number that we know it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. In Nigeria when they say 1, 2, 3, it is 1, 2, 3. Okay, it's not 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Do you understand? So numbers, numbers can be divided into two data types. So we have the first one. The first one is called integers. All right, integers. Okay, and the second one I refer to as a float. Float. So we have numbers, integers. Integers is one type of number, and we also have floats as another type of number. So when you look at number, all right, there are two types of number, integer and float. It's as simple as that. Now, it might still sound weird to you, but when I expatiate it, you understand better. All right. So just give me a second. Let me give you the second one to talk about. So the second thing we're going to talk about today is what we call text. So in Python, they don't call it text. They call it strings. Okay. They call it strings. Okay. So these are the data types we're going to look at today. And if we have enough time, we would explore what we have: conditional formatting. Conditional formatting. Conditional statement, actually. Not formatting. Conditional statements. Okay. And the number four is functions. All right, functions. So these are the things we're going to explore today. So these are the things we are going to explore today. And you see that basic understanding of Python is what you're going to carry on to be complex. And you see, these basic things, integer, float, text, strings, all these things we're talking about, you see what code, the code I'm going to use it to build today. All right. And you'll be amazed. And that's why I just want you to listen. Just listen. That's what I want you to do. All right. When you get the recording, you can always practice, but just listen in class. It's all. I'm not going to take too much of your time. Trust me. All right. Just listen. All right. So we have 4 things to go by today. All right. Don't worry. Yes, we have set lists, tuples, Boolean, and all that. But for the session today, we're only going to explore 3 out of 8 of them. We're only going to explore 3. And you'll see how versatile these 3 are. Okay. So now let's run your code. Let me just put it there so that when you get the recording, you also know what to do. To run your code, all right, click on Shift plus Enter. Click Shift plus Enter. And now you're clicking on these together, not one after the other. You click on it together like a typewriter. Click on Shift, then press Enter. Ensure you have that sound comes out. That's when it works. Without that sound, it's not going to work. So you see that I'm going to press mine now. Shift. That part it has to come out in order for it to work. Okay. Don't go and spoil your laptop. I'm joking. All right. So in order for you to run your code, when you're inside the cell, this is a cell. When you're inside the cell, press Shift plus Enter together. Shift Enter together. It moves to a new cell. It runs. And you can see it gives you a green tick. All right. So now let's start with number 1, integers. I'm going to take integers. I'm going to start with integers. So integers, they are also called old numbers. All right. Now you're looking at it. What is old number? What's a Femena? What's a Femena talking about? Old number is basically a number without decimal points. A number without decimal point is called an integer. A number without decimal point is referred to as an integer. Okay, so if I press Shift Enter to run again, to run the cell, all right, it will give you 10. All right, it's going to give you the number 10. So integers are called whole numbers. Now, this number, it could be positive or it could be negative. It doesn't matter. It honestly doesn't matter. Positive or negative. It doesn't matter. Okay? As long as there's no decimal point, it is what? It is whole number. It is integer. All right? So if I even change it to minus 10, perfect. It's still the same thing. All right? And let's check. So there's a type function in Python. There's a type function. So this type function basically will tell you the data type. So the type function in Python will tell you the data type of the number. All right, so let's put in there 10. Okay, I'm going to put type and put 10 inside the brackets for type. Shift Enter to run, and you see it will give me int, INT, which is the short form for integer. All right, which is the short form for integer. So type 10 will give you int. If you even change it to minus 10 and you press Shift Enter, it will still give you int. Even it is minus 1 quadrillion, as long as there is no decimal points, it is an integer. All right. So regardless of how large the number is, as long as there's no decimal points, it's an integer. Positive, negative, everything is summarized as integer. Simple. All right. So that's the first thing that you need to know. Integers could be positive or negative. They are still integers. All right. That's the first one. Integers. Check. So that's integer. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay. Now let's take on the next one. The next one is what? A float. Now, if you know if integers are without decimal points, then you know that floats. Can somebody tell me what floats are? Float. What do you think float is? Can somebody tell me? Put it in the charts. fraction, somebody said fraction, floats are fractions, decimal numbers, exactly, decimal point numbers, all right? So floats are also called decimal point numbers, all right? Decimal point numbers, decimal point numbers, okay? So, and this also, it could be positive or negative, it really doesn't matter, as long as there's a decimal point, that's all that honestly matters. So let's say 10.5, for example, shift enter, all right? So if I put it in a type function, type of what? 10.5, and you run it, it's going to give you a float. It's going to give you a float, all right? So those are the two types of numbers. So Python complex, Python intermediate, Python advanced, Python beginner, numbers are of two types, integer and float. You know past that one. It's not more than that. Integer and a float. All right. Now, the next thing we're going to look at is strings. All right. The next thing we're going to look at is strings. So I'm going to explain everything I'm doing. All right. So hashtag strings. All right. So strings are also called, the strings is what they are called. Okay. All right. So they're basically what we call text. So the way you want to type something, take for example, I want to type the boy is going, or let's say Olawale is a great teacher. All right. So now this is a text. Olawale is a great teacher. All right. Now you can see I have curvy lines beneath it telling me there is an error. If I run it, let me run it, okay? Shift enter to run. And you see I have error, invalid syntax, okay? So for strings, you need to use quotation mark for strings, quotation marks for strings, okay? So when you want to write your text in Python, for Python to recognize it, you need to put it in quotes, in quotation mark, in quotation mark. So your strings in Python, you need to put them in quotes, in quotation marks. All right. So now let's run this. Okay, let's run this. And you see it here. Olawale is a great teacher. Olawale is a great teacher. No error. So for strings, all right, you need to add your quotation marks. All right, quotation marks. Okay. So you need to put it in quotes. So that every time I always say that, oh, go in quotes, in quotes. All right. That guy, the person, came into the office and shouted on everybody and called this person in quotes. That quote, bring it into Python and start putting it in quotes. When you're writing text, put it in quotes. Okay. Quotation mark. All right. So now we've learned 3 data types in less than 10 minutes. 3 data types, we have learned it in less than 10 minutes. Integer, floats, and strings. Integer, float, and string. Now let's put it inside the type function. Let's put it inside the type function. All right. I'm going to put it inside the type function. All right. Copy this one. I'll put it inside here. And let's see what type will give us. And you see it gives us str. So the short form for string is str, okay? Float is float. Float is the same thing as float, so that's why I didn't change anything. So we've done 3 data types in 10 minutes. It's roughly about 10 minutes, all right? So we have 3 types. Now, the key thing now is let's combine all these things together. So some people say complex is hard. When you start doing complex stuff, it now becomes harder. All right. So let's start to combine these things together. All right. So the best way to combine these things together is using what we call the variable. Using variables. All right. Now I like terminologies because, all right, it makes you sound like a professional. So when you say you are assigning a variable, so they actually call it variable assignment. Let me just call it the way they call it so that you always know. So variable assignment is what we call it. All right, variable are assignments. Okay, now let me explain this thing to you. Let me explain to you, and let me explain by using an example. So let me say income equals to 5,000. Income equals to 5,000. So you see this income. This income right here is what we call a variable. The income you see there is regarded as a variable. It's regarded as a variable. Now, what's a variable? A variable is an empty container. It's an empty container. All right. So you see this bottle of water I have next to me. It's a container. So this variable, this income you see here is like this water bottle in front of me, just this water bottle. All right. So now, if I put water inside this container, it will take it. The bottle will say no. Would the bottle say no? To say I don't want water inside this bottle? It's impossible. It's a container. So anything I put inside, it will accept it. All right. So I pour the water out, I put I put juice inside, it's going to accept the juice. All right. I pour the juice out, I put stew inside the rubber, it's going to accept it. I pour the stew out, I pour sand inside, it's going to take it. So it's an empty container, all right, that you can use to store, products or anything. Or the ice cream bowl, for example. All right. So ice cream bowl, we all know, even me, when I moved to Ireland initially, all right, instead of buying Tupperware, the transparent, I buy like 3, 4 ice cream, big bowls for ice cream of ice cream. All right. So rather than buy Tupperware, the transparent one, I'll buy ice cream, big bowls of ice cream, put it in the freezer, take it, lick everything out. All right. And start using that ice cream bowl to store soup and jollof rice. So egusi, stew, jollof, gizdo, anything I cook, I use those containers to store them. So basically, that's a variable. A variable is that empty container that you can use to store any kind of value. So looking at this now, this 5,000 that you have here is a value. All right? It's a value. And I'm putting it inside income as a container. It's a container. So I just take 5,000 and I put it inside the container. It's like a piggy bank. All right? But it's just that it can take anything. Anything you give it, it exactly. Variables are like Danish cookies. I wanted to change it up today. All right. I like Danish cookies. You see that Danish cookies? If you remember Danish cookies, yeah? All right. You see that Danish cookies, when you buy it, all right, it feels like it's follow come. It must use it for something, you must use it for something else. You will never throw away Danish cookie in my house. Okay. So initially was sewing materials you put inside. Used for sewing materials, you put thread and needle. From there, it became, jewelry box. From jewelry box, it transformed again into what do you call it? What else do you use Danish cookies for? First aid. So what do you guys use Danish cookies for your own house? Let me see if we are all Africans in this place. All right. So that Danish cookie you use for everything. So you can put sewing materials inside, it will accept it. You put first aid materials inside, it will accept it. You put anything you put inside, it's going to accept it. Mom's jewelry box, exactly. Yeah, that's even. Yeah, it's a very common chocolates. Chocolates. Olawale is not in Nigeria. I don't think he's an African man. When the chocolate is out of it, what do you put inside? It's a key question. All right. So, anyways, that's a variable. A variable is an empty container. So basically, we are saying that inside this empty container, income is an empty container. All right. So we are putting 5,000 inside this empty container. So anytime you open it, if you put sewing materials inside a Danish cookie container and you open it, what would you see? You will see the sewing material, bolts and nuts, interesting, screwdriver too. All right. So anytime you put sewing materials or you put your jewelry inside the Danish cookie container and you open the Danish cookie container, what would you see? You will see jewelry inside. If you take out the jewelry and you put sewing materials inside and you close it and you open it, what would you see there? Sewing material. All right. So it's the same thing with this. You put 5,000 inside income. If you open income, what would you see? 5,000. If you put another thing inside income, you would also see the same what you have put inside. So now, let me run this cell, shift enter to run. I run that cell. Okay, always look out for the green tick. If you don't see the green tick, then you've not run it. Okay, so you see income is equals to 5,000. Income equals to 5,000. Now, if I come here to open income, I come here to open it like our container, all right, and I try to run it, all right, you see it gives me what? 5,000. So income is a container, and anytime you open it, whatever you put inside, whenever you open it, that is exactly what you see. So I put 5,000 inside income, and I came down here to open it, and it gives me exactly what I put inside. So if I come here to say that income multiplied by 2, okay, that would basically mean 5,000 multiplied by 2. The container, what's inside the container? 5,000. 5,000 multiplied by 2 would give you what? 10,000. All right. And that's what you have here. 10,000. 10,000. You could do income multiplied by income. It doesn't even mind. It will multiply by itself. Okay. All right. Income multiplied by income. All right. Once you run it, it's going to give you what you're looking for. All right. And that's about 2.5 million. All right. That will be 2.5. That's 25 million, actually. Sorry. 25 million. All right. That's 25 million. So that's income multiplied by income. So what's inside the container is 5,000. 5,000 multiplied by 5,000 will give you what? 25 million. So you can use it to do arithmetic calculations, basic calculations, so on and so forth. So variable assignment is a very essential knowledge to learn. All right. So now, things to know about variables, all right? Rules and regulations. Let me call it rules and regulations. Okay. So that anytime you're working with variables, you always remember it. Okay. So let's call it rules and regulations for using variables. Right? Rules and regulations for using variables. Now, let's talk about this. Now, there are certain rules you should abide by when you're using variables. Number one is it is case sensitive. It is case sensitive. All right, it is case sensitive. What do you mean by case sensitive? It means that, all right, if I currently, you can see my income is in small letter. The moment I change it to capital letter, income, capital letter I, okay, small letter I, that's what we call case sensitive. So if I run this now, you see it's going to give me an error. Income is not defined because of that case sensitive. Income is small letter. All right, income here is capital letter. So that's why it's telling you income is not defined. So it is what? Case sensitive. That's the first thing you need to know. All right. The other thing you need to know is, so whatever you name it initially, always remember obviously you even see to tell you it's not defined. So you can go back and correct it. Okay. So once you type in income or you misspell it, all right. So you respell it. Let's say instead of income, you put the E before the M. Python does not have autocorrect. Okay. There's nothing like autocorrect that to correct you. Okay. You need to know exactly what you're typing. All right. But it's going to tell you where the error is. That's the good thing. And you can see it here. The name, this is not defined. All right. So unless I put in the right value and I run it, you see, it gives me what I'm looking for. The right syntax, the right variable will give me exactly what I am looking for. Now, the next part is number two. Number two is you cannot start with a number. You can't start with a number. All right. You can't start with a number. You can't. So if I want to write 10 analytics, I want to assign a new variable to 10 analytics. So 10 analytics. All right. 10 analytics equals to 100. You see, it's not going to allow me. I can't start my variable with a number. All right. I can start after. I can put 10 after. Okay. But I cannot put it to start the variable. All right. So anything that has to do with a number, all right, you can't start the variable with a number. So you can't start your variable name with a number. You can't start there. Okay. And the third, but not the last one, is no space. You can't put space inside. Case sensitive, you can't start with a number and no space. No space. All right. So no space means that that's why you see when people are writing their code, they use what we call underscore, or what we call case. Camel case. Okay. So now let me explain that one for you. So if I want to write I'll try total score or total cost. Let's put it that way. Total cost equals to 1,000. Okay. So like I said, no space allowed. You can't put space. Spaces are not allowed. So what would you do? So when you see this total space cost, you see there's a problem here. So that space, you need to replace it with something else. So you can see that's why people use what we call underscore. Okay. So if I come here, rather than putting a space, I will put an underscore to work with that, to replace space. So when you see people writing their code and you see underscore, all right, it basically indicates, it tells you that, oh, this is the reason why what the Vimena was talking about. Spaces are not allowed in your variables. All right. So your variable, Kashmir is asking a very good question. Are there types of variables? No, there are no types of variables. All right. You have local and global variables, but that one we'll get to that. But essentially, variables are just like empty containers where you can store items. All right. There's no type. Okay, but when we get there, we'll talk about it. But basically, variables are empty containers. All right. So no spaces, no space allowed, and that's why people use underscore or what we call a camel case. A camel case is capital letter. All right. So you look at the total cost. It starts with a capital letter, and the cost also starts with another capital letter. So people can easily decipher that, oh, this is total cost. All right, and it's not one word. Okay. So total cost starting with a capital T and starting with a capital C. So anybody that is reading your code will know that, oh, this is total cost. So we call it a camel case, just the same way I wrote the camel case is the same way you have it over here. So this is what we refer to as the camel case. So if you see the camel, it has the arms, okay? Or is it arms to call it? All right. So you see it goes up, slants down, goes up, and so that's why they refer to it as the camel case. So essentially that's what we call camel case, and that's what we refer to as that's what they use in replace of space. Okay, that's what they replace with space. All right. If you have any question, please feel free to drop it in the chat. I'll be happy to take your questions as we go on. Okay. Now the next thing is let's now combine all these things together. Let's write a code that combines everything that we have done here together. Okay. So now let's do the first one. Okay. And I'm going to use it for a concatenating function. Concatenate. All right, a concatenate function, a full name. Let's call it a full name concatenate function. All right, a full name concatenate function. So I want to create a function that would get your first name, your last name, and join it together. All right. So I want to create a function that will get your first name, your last name, and combine it together. So let's do it together. Okay. I'll walk you through the process. So I'll create the first variable, first name. Okay. I'll create a first variable, first name, and I'm going to put my name, my first name there, Ifemena. All right. First name equals to Ifemena. So first name is a variable, and you can see I'm using my underscore. All right. First name is a variable, and I'm saying equals to Ifemena. Ifemena is a string. All right. So let's put it. The second one, I'm going to create another variable, last name. last underscore name. Okay. Last name is equals to Epro. Okay. Ifemena, Epro. First name is Ifemena. Last name is Epro. All right. Now, my full name, full underscore name equals to another variable. You can see how I'm using variables for this. All right. So these are all variables. Like I said, variable, put anything inside, it will accept it. All right. Put anything inside. You put a goose inside ice cream bowl, you take it. You put okra next day, it will accept. You put jollof rice the next day, it will accept. So anything you put inside variable, it will always accept it. All right. Now, full name is my first name and my last name. That's my full name. So if I want to get my full name, it's my first name and my last name. So essentially, that is what I am trying to do. All right. So that's exactly what I want to do. So I would say first name underscore name. Okay, that's the first name, the variable first name, plus last underscore name. Okay, and I'll put it under full name, full underscore name. Let's run it together. So I have created this variable. I created this variable, Ifemena, and I put it inside this variable. Epro, I created this another variable and put Epro inside the last name. So for full name is basically the combination of first name and last name together. Okay, and it will give me my full name. So I'll run this, all right, in order for me to see what my full name looks like. Now let's run it together. Shift enter, and you see full name is what? Ifemena Epro. Full name is equals to Ifemena Epro. But now, can anybody see any issue with this? Can anybody see issue with this? Any issue with this? Any issue? Let me see. Let me see the people that are following me. Any issue with this? Any potential issue with this? All right, fantastic. No space. Fantastic. I love that. No space. No space. That's good. That's absolutely correct. So it's one word. It's taking it as one word. Okay? It's taking it as one word instead of Ifemena space Epro. Now let me show you how to add space. Okay? And you see how Python, people that say Python is difficult, you see. So I'm going to join three things together. I'm going to join three things together. And the three things are Ifemena space. Space is a text also. All right? Space is a text. So first name plus space plus last name. So I'm combining three things together now. First name, space, and last name. So the plus sign with space, plus sign, last name. So when I run this now, you see, it gives me Ifemena Epro. Fantastic, isn't it? All right. So just combining those things together. Ifemena space Epro. Exactly what I have here. Ifemena space Epro. And exactly what I've done. All right. So exactly what you've done. But now, that's just a tip of the iceberg. Now, the key thing here is you have Ifemena. So and I'm trying to create a function that will get people's name, get people's first name, last name, and combine it together. That's what I'm looking for. So I want to build a function that would ask for people's first name, last name, all right, and it will create a function and tell them their full name, essentially. So rather than, this is what we call hard coding. So we call this hard coding, okay, in the sense that you are specifying the name itself. So if somebody else wants to put in their own name there, they will need to come and change it. I will need to change this Ifemena to Israel, all right? And I'll change Epro to Olawale. Sorry, Wale, I've used your name too much today, all right? So if I run this now, you see it give me Israel Olawale. But I can't keep changing this name every time somebody wants to write their name. I can't. That's what we call hard coding. Because if somebody else wants to come, they will need to write this all over again. All right? They will need to write this all over again. Raima, please confirm if you can hear me well. Okay, I can't hear Brahima too.
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Oh, okay. All right, thanks. Somebody's just sent me a message that they can't hear me. So, all right. Thanks a lot, Brahima. All right. So now I need to avoid this hard coding. Because if somebody else wants to write their number, if somebody else wants to, use the function, they will need to put in their own name manually. So there's something in Python that we are going to use called the impute function, imputes. So imputes, all right, the impute function. So the impute function allows you to interact with the user. So now, rather than me putting my first name and last name manually, Python will be the one to request for my first name. All right. So it's not me that will be typing it, every time I run in the code. All right. So I want Python to ask, what is your first name? What is your first name? And I'm going to copy it out, copy this one, and I'll drop it down here. So instead of first name, I'm going to tell Python to ask for what is your last name. So you see, when you use applications and you get to start to use applications, and the application will just pop up, just ask you, what's your name? Where are you born? And still just be asking for all this information. Yeah. The impute function is being used to request for the user's input. All right. It's asking for the user's input. Now, that's what I've done here. Input, what is your first name? So a dialog box will come up and it will ask you, what is your first name? For the input function also, it will ask you, what is your last name? All right, and let's take it in. Let's try it together. Shift, enter, run. And you see now, I'm not putting manually inside this place again. You see, it's asking me for what is your first name? And I'm going to put Ifemena in there. Press enter. What is your last name? ePro. Press enter. And you see, Ifemena ePro. Fantastic, isn't it? Ifemena ePro. All right. So you can see how we're using this thing, but I don't like the way this thing looks. I don't like it. It's too close. So it's not visually appealing. All right. So what I'll do is I'll put a question mark, a column, and a space. So it's like it's a question. What is your first name? What's your last name? So that's why I put the question mark. The semicolon is just to make it look better. All right. See, looking at this name, if a men and they're close to each other. So anybody that's reading the code really doesn't understand what, if the person doesn't understand, it will just feel like it's one word. So that's why I'm putting the question mark and the space and everything there. So if I run this now, let's run it again. And I put in Ifemena. All right, you see, it gives me that space. That's the reason why I'm doing this. All right, so just make it, look fancy and nice and clean. You get me? ePro. And you see it here. Ifemena ePro. Fantastic, isn't it? All right, but that's not all. We're just starting. So you see all the things, that's integer, floats, strings that we have learned all through. I'm going to use it to buff up this particular code. All right. What's happening if you put a space in quotation mark after the what is your name? You can put a space there. That's not a problem. You could actually just put a space. That's not a problem. All right. Okay. So now we're going to be I'm going to be, I started small, first name, last name, and full name. But now I want to start incorporating other code. All right. And I want you guys to follow me. Okay. I want you guys to follow me. All right. So I want to also ask for another question. I want to ask for something else. I want to ask for the person's age. I want not age, year of birth. I want to ask for the person's year of birth. I know your first name, I know your last name, and I missed something. Did you bring out the name after running? Yes, I did. You brought out the name here. Sit here, Ifemena April. All right. So the next thing I want to do is I want to also ask the user for the person's year of birth. Year of birth. So I'll call it YOB, year of birth. So I want to ask, I want to request for the person to give me their year of birth. Now, if I request for the year of birth, I will know how old the person is. If I know the year they gave birth to you, then I can easily calculate your age. All right. Can anybody tell me how I'll calculate your age? If I know your year of birth, how would I calculate your year of birth? Can anybody give me So if I know the year they gave birth to you, how will I calculate your age? Anybody? 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 Date of birth. Yes, date of birth. So if I know your date of birth, how would I calculate your age? That's the key question. Just subtract it from the current year. Fantastic. I love that. Just subtract it from the current year. So if I know your year of birth and I want to know your age, I'll just take this year minus your year of birth and I'll get your age. It's as simple as that. All right. So let's do it together now. So I'm going to do another input, okay, to request. And I would ask what year were you born? Question mark, space. Okay. What year were you born? So now, the moment I know your year of birth, I'll calculate your age immediately without wasting time. All right, I'll calculate your age so that I'll calculate back end. So it will be 2023 minus, so age is a variable. Age equals to 2023 minus your year of birth. Simple. And I will know your age. All right, I will know your age. So in this place here, instead of full name, I'll now change it. I'll change it to look something interesting. Now let's do it together. So I would say print. So I'm very sure some people have been waiting for me to use print. But anyways, I'm using it now. Print, full name, okay, print, and I'll put inside quotation mark. I'll print your full name is, this is all string. Your full name is, all right. And I'll put your full name is, I'll put plus, like a concatenation, okay? Plus, okay? And I'll put the variable name, full underscore name, all right? Then I'll put another plus, another quotation mark, and you are, okay? And you are something years old, okay? And I'll put plus, plus, let's say age years old, age plus years old. Okay, so I'm concatenating everything together, just the same way I concatenated first name and last name. So the text here, I'm concatenating it with the variable, I'm concatenating it with the text, I'm concatenating with the age, concatenating it with the text. So your full name is your full name, okay? And you are age. I've calculated your age, years old. All right. So it's me concatenating everything together. I'm concatenating your name, your full name is this, plus your this and this and this together. All right. So now let's print it. Let's test it out together. So what's your first name? I'm going to use Wale. All right. Last name, I'm going to use Stella. All right. First name is Wale. Last name is Stella. All right. What year were you born? 2000. Okay. And I'll press enter. So I have an error. Okay. Beautiful error. So now you see, int, you can see the error here. Unsupported operand types for integer and string. Unsupported integer for integer and string. So that's a very good, this is why, the errors, they tell you exactly what the errors are. So basically, the problem here is YOB. Let's take a look at what YOB. What is YOB? All right. So if I come here and I write type and I put YOB inside type and I run it, you see, it will give me string. What is a string? Can anybody remember what a string is? What is string? What's a string? So YOB is string, text. Fantastic. That's good. Text. So YOB is a text. So how do you want to minus YOB number minus text? It's impossible. All right. You can't say that 10 minus Ifemena. Python does not understand. All right, you can't minus text from a number. All right. So you see this YOB, when you use the input function, by default, it will give you a string. By default, it will give you a string. All right. So you need to specify, and I want an int. So I'll wrap it inside an integer. So you see this input, when it's going to get the input from the user. So it's going to request, what year were you born? It's going to request, what year were you born? All right. And once you put in your year, all right, it's going to convert it into an integer. All right. Because you can't use a float. All right. Your year of birth cannot be 1993.727. It can't be 2001.1. It can't be 1995.627. It's impossible. You can't have your years in floats. It has to be an integer. And that's why I am wrapping this particular code, inputs, inside the integer brackets. So once you request for your year of birth and you put in your number, it's going to convert it into an integer, all right, instead of a string. So now let's try it again. Shift enter to run. What's your first name? I'm going to use Stella, all right. Last name, I'm going to use Nazar, all right. And you see, what year were you born? 1997. Press enter. And now I have another one again. Beautiful. And that's the reason why I'm going through this, because when you're trying this on your own, you might have, these are some of the issues that you might have, and you might feel like it's too much pressure. But essentially, and I'm trying to teach you all these errors, you can only concatenate string, not int. So basically, it's trying to tell you that you cannot concatenate a number and a text together. Number, text, you can't combine them together. You need to separate, you need to convert everything to string instead of text and string. So you see, age is a number. And that's true. Python is even confirming that age is nothing but a number. Age is nothing but a number. So if you come here and I put age inside this type, all right, you see, it will give you int. All right, it's going to give you int. So what you want to do for this age, I'm going to wrap it inside a string. I'm going to wrap it inside a string. I'll convert it into a string. And that's the reason why I taught you the shortcut, the short form. str string, float is float doesn't change, and int is itn. So you don't write them in full in Python, you write the short code for it. Okay? So, and that's the reason why I'm going through all this, to tell you how, so when you get these errors, you know what they stand for. All right. So you're not lost and you're not stuck for long. All right. So let's do it one more time. Okay. So, and I do Stella, I put Wale again. Now I put in 1997, and you see it now runs perfectly. So you see the small adjustment you've made when you're using your inputs. All right, ensure if you're trying to get a float or an integer, please specify. All right. Secondly, when you are concatenating, you cannot concatenate number and text together. And that's the reason why I converted the age into a text. All right, into a string, essentially. All right, now you see, your full name is Stella Wale, and you are 26 years old. All right, simple and easy to work with. And you can deploy this. You can easily deploy this across any platform you want. All right, so there is a better way of writing this, to be very, very candid with you. There is a better way of writing this, and let me show you the better way. Because some of you might look at it like, this might be too much for you to write. So if you want to write a whole sentence, how would you write it? All right. So there is essentially a slightly better way. So let me show you the better way. All right. So I'll just take this out, put this in a curly brackets, put this one here in a curly brackets. All right. And take out all the quotation mark and all the pluses, put everything as one word. Okay. Only one word. Take out the age. All right. So go ahead, take out the age along with str. Okay. And years old. I'm going to take that out. Sorry. Okay, years old. All right. So for this one, I'm going to put it in the curly bracket also. Okay, and all I put here is an F in front of it. Okay, so everything is one text. Okay, the only thing I added was this F in front of it. So you see, your full name is full name in curly brackets, in cursive brackets, and you are string years old. That age, you need to still leave it as string. All right. So any variable that you're putting inside your print function, you put it inside curly brackets. The only thing I'm going to change is the F. I'm going to put F in front. So now let's test it out. So what's your first name? I'm going to use Brahima's name. Brahima, and last name, Oluwadamilola. All right. These are the superstars behind Analytics. Okay. What year were you born? 2020. Okay. And I'll press it enter. And you see, your full name is Brahima Oluwadamilola, and you are 3 years old. Okay. So this is a better way of writing instead of you concatenating every word. All right. What is the work of the F? Okay. The F function, F right there is what we call a string literal. F strings. We call it F strings. Okay. We call it F strings. That F strings basically it allows you to work with, what we have done, print functions. So you want to print a line of things, all right? So rather than you always concatenating each word, okay, your full name is close your quotation plus full name plus, rather than concatenating till eternity, just write one full text and put those things in curly brackets, all the variable names in curly brackets. So you see, your full name is full name. That's the variable. You put it in curly brackets. And you are string years old. This age years old. You are age years old. You convert it to string and you use it to get what you're looking for. So it's always used in curly brackets. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is to put it. So if I know your age, I will know your generation. I will know your generation. So I'm going to put it there. All right. So let me just put it here. All right. And I'll explain it. Okay. I'll explain it shortly. All right. So let me zoom out a bit so you can see the whole code at once. All right. Let me see if I zoom it one more time to 50. I think 150 is not bad. All right. So see, the same thing is everything. Everything is the same thing. All right. Every single thing is the same thing. Age is what? Year. Today's this year minus YOB will give you your age. So if I know your age, all right, I have defined, this is what we call a conditional statement. This is what we refer to as a conditional statement. I don't know who took away my pen in this video. All right, so let me just get a pen. Sorry, give me a second. I'm looking for my pen. All right. All right. So if I know your age, all right, if I know your age, all right. So if you are, take for example, since the first condition here is age is less than 4 years old. Age is less than 4. So if your age is less than 4 years old, you belong to generation alpha. So that is what? 4 and below. That is what, sorry. That's 3 and below, actually. All right, that's 3 and below, less than 4. So when you say less than 4, that basically means what? 3, 2, and 1. So currently, Brahima will be generation alpha because there are 3 years. They fall into this bracket, less than 4. Now, the next generation is what? Less than 25. So because this one is less than 4, that is 3, 2, 1. This next generation is less than 25. So this less than 25 will basically mean what? Will mean from 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way to what? 25. All right, that's exactly what we're talking about. So anybody between the age of 4 to 25 is what they regard as Gen Z. All right, that's what we refer to as Gen Z. Now, the next people again, less than 41. All right, so this one stops at what? 24 actually. This one stops at 24. So 20, this Gen Z would be our alpha, millennials would be 25, 26, 27, all right, all the way towards 40, all the way to 40. So for 25 all the way to 40, they regard them as millennials, all right? They regard them as millennials. Yes, thank you very much, 24. Thanks, a lot better now, all right? So that's exactly what we're talking, all right? So you see that, so less than 4, that is 3, 2, 1. So now, if you get, once you write, let's practice, let's do a practical together, all right? And in this place, I'm going to add something here, all right? So generation is the generation itself. So it's going to give you the generation at the end of the day. So I'm going to say, you are something years old and you belong to the dash generation. Okay, I'm going to put it in curly brackets and put it generation inside. This generation, this variable, I'm going to put it inside. All right, generation, and you belong to this generation. Okay, so let's run this. Let's run everything together. I'm going to zoom out one more so that we can see everything at once at a go. All right, since we are not practicing, just let's try everything together. Now, it will start from the first line. You see the green arrow? It starts from first name. I'm going to put in the first name, and I'm going to use Chujo. Chujo is an amazing guy. All right. So let's use Chujo. Last name, I'm going to use another person's name. Let me try somebody else. Okay. I'm going to use Chujo scientist. Okay. I'm not going to use, okay. All right, scientist, children scientist. What year were you born? I'm going to use 1990. All right, press enter, and you see it here. Your full name is Chujo Scientist, and you are 33 years old, and you belong to the Generation Y Millennials generation. You see what we've done here? Generation, all right, and specifies the generation you belong to. So you see here, generation equals to generation Y. So you see, Shujo is what? Is 33 years old. 33. So when you look at the number 33, it's going to start from the top, from this first function. Is 33 less than 4? Obviously, no. So it's going to ignore. All right, it will what? Ignore. All right, it will ignore this code. It will now move to the next line again. It will move to the next line. It will ignore this one and move to this line and test again. Okay, is 33 less than 25? Obviously false. It's going to ignore. All right, it will do the same thing, ignore. All right, it will move to a new line again to the next condition and it will test again. Is 33 less than 41? Ting, ting, ting. Yes, that's correct. 33 is less than 41. So it's going to return generation Y, millennial. Okay? It's going to give it, so it's going to be testing that age. You see, age is less than 4. No. Age is less than 24. No. Age is less than 41. Correct. And that's how it works it out. All right? So essentially, that's how the conditional function works. So I'm going to run it again one more time. All right. And I'm going to use somebody else's name. I'm going to use Emeka this time. And I'm going to use Emeka Engineer. All right. What year were you born? I'm going to put a earlier year so you can, or maybe a later year, 1945. 1945. Okay. And you see it here. Emeka is what? 78 years old. 78. 79. All right. So Emeka is 78 years old. All right. And it belongs to what? Silent generation. All right. Silent generation. And you see, this is where it belongs to. So 78 is what? The last, when you look at the last one, is 78 less than 77? Obviously, what? No. So that's why it's bringing out the last line, which is silent generation. All right. So essentially, that's what we do. That's what we're talking about. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is to this big code, this long code that we just written, okay, that we have just typed out. I'll convert it to a function. Okay, I'll convert it to a function. I'll convert it to a function, and I'm going to use en. So a function. Okay, so I'll define a function def, and I would say generation calculator. Okay, open and close the brackets, semicolon, press enter, and you see all this code. I will put it inside that function I just created. Indent. All right, and that's it. So now if I run this, nothing will happen. But you see, I've created a function. This is the function I just created. Generation calculator. So instead of me writing the big chunk of code every time I need to calculate somebody's generation, I have created a function. This is what we call a function. All right, this is what we call a function. So now, rather than writing that big chunk of code, I'll just come here and put in what? Generation calculator. I'll type it in, generation calculator. Now, if I run this small line, just this generator calculator, it's going to start. It should implement all these multiple lines of code will run inside this function. So it's going to take my first name, Ifemena, ePro. What year were you born? Somebody said I should use 1946. 1946. All right. And you see, 77 years old. All right. 77 years old. And you belong to the silent generation. It's still the same thing. All right. And that's because everybody, the baby boomers basically are people between the age of 56 to what? 76. Baby boomers. So anybody that's above 70, anybody that's above 76 will be silent generation. So this is what we regard to as a function. Sorry, my Ibadan accent just came out. Function, okay? Okay, function. Okay, that's what we call a function. So rather than writing that bulk code, all right, rather than writing all this, rather than implementing this bulk line of code, it makes your code neater. Okay, so you can implement this, convert it into a function, and implement it with just one single line. Easy to work with, easy to implement. All right, so all you need to do is just follow the steps I took. Thought less than 77 will be generation X. Less than 7 is generation X. See generation X here. Generation X, this is generation X. So that will be, generation X would be 41 actually, sorry. 41 to 56. Generation X would be 41 to 56. Okay, generation X would be 40. Else if age is less than 57, then generation X. All right, so that's basically Python for you. All right, that's basically Python for you. And one key thing I would say is Python is a very interesting language because It's like you're speaking English. First name, it's like you're using your own words. There is no predefined. There are conditions you need to follow. No space, case sensitive, all this. But you're using your own words. You're using your own words to define the functions. All right. It's your own logic that you're defining. And now we want to do calculator. Fine, we did it, we built it. All right. Generation calculator. You want to find out if somebody can vote or the person cannot vote. You can do the same thing. So it's very easy to implement, easy to learn, easy to use, and easy to walk around. All right. So if you have any question, please just let me know. I'll be happy to take your questions. All right. I'll be happy to take your questions. All right. Now, that is Python. Okay. That's the Python. This is Jupyter Note. Jupyter. This is Google Colab. I will spend the next couple of minutes exploring Python. All right. But now the key question is, what does a data scientist use Python for? And what does a data engineer use Python for? All right. What do they use this Python for? A data scientist would use Python for something entirely different from what a data engineer would use Python for. All right. Two of them will use SQL almost in the same limelight, almost in the same limelight. But we'll talk more about that as we go on. All right. So let me just remove this pen. Okay. So exactly what do they use Python for? Let's explore that in the next couple of minutes. Then we can call it a day. So now let's talk about data engineering, a little bit about data engineering and the need for data engineering. Like I said, I'm just going to tell you a quick story. A few years ago, there was nothing like data engineering. Okay. There was a need for data engineering, and that's what we are going to be talking about. So you see here, initially, data scientists, all right, initially, data scientists or data analysts and all that used to connect directly to the data source. So you see the data analyst will connect directly to the database and start to run analytics and all that. Or they need to extract, if you have any form of systems within your organization. So you have SAP, you have Salesforce, you have different ERP and CRM tools that organizations are using. So you see, this is where they are. CRM and ERP solutions, SAP, Salesforce, and all these other large ERP solutions in different organizations. So you see, they run those applications they use it to manage business operations. All right. CRM is customer related. Enterprise resource planning, enterprise ERP, which is enterprise resource planning, is used for the organizational, for operations, all right, normal daily operations of the business. Well, CRM is used for customer, all right. Take, for example, Salesforce. Salesforce is to track sales leads, anything that has to do with sales, all right. That's what you use CRM for. Well, ERP is daily operations of the business, all right. Finance, the HR, supply chain, logistics. That's where you see SAP working perfectly for, all right. So you see, organizations use these tools, ERP and CRM tools, to track certain, to gather data within the organization, sales-related data and operations-related data. Now, the data analysts before would be going into this ERP by themselves to extract the data that they need to use to run reports. So if the CEO says that, oh, data analysts, we need to keep track of our sales in Jamaica, in Northern America, all right? Or, oh, we need to keep track of sales in Asia, for example. The data analyst will need to go to this ERP solution and download the data. So if they need data for like 1 year, 6 months, they'll go into the ERP, download the data, and start to work with that data. Do you understand? But over time, organizations started generating what we call big data. What's big? That you can't just go there and query data and extract data and start to run with it. It makes no sense. All right. The data became bigger. Obviously, organizations started working with bigger organizations, getting clients across the entire continent, across the entire world and all that. So, something like Facebook. All right. Facebook has over 2 billion customers. Even the previous organizations I've worked with, they had data spanning over millions of regions, different regions, generating millions of rows of data on a daily basis. Now, we can't just go to the database and start to download, okay, put in the numbers, from today to last year, download everything. It's going to take you time. It's going to waste time. It's inefficient. It leads to a lot of errors, so on and so forth. So you see, and data analysts, data scientists were having these issues because a data analyst cannot do anything. A data scientist cannot do machine learning, any form of predictions if there is no data. It's not possible. It can't work. Okay. So, that really now gave birth to what we call data engineering. A professional that is an intermediary between the data and the data scientist. The data engineer is just sitting in the middle, all right? And is an intermediary between the database, the data sources across the organization, and the data users. So the data scientists, the data analysts, they need data. You want to track sales in a particular region. You want to track, you need something, data for an insight you're trying to track or something. What would they do? They will be the one to go and source for the data, clean the data, and provide it for the data scientist. They don't need mathematics. They don't need statistics. They don't need any form of mathematics, differentiation, algebra, linear algebra, and all that. Their own job is just to build what we call data pipelines. All right. Now, if you even think of pipeline, if you're a Nigerian, you know what we call a pipeline. When you talk pipeline, oil pipeline, all right? You have the oil well, you have the refinery. Okay. So you see, the pipeline basically takes it from the oil well and takes it all the way to where it is being processed, the refinery. All right. It's the same thing with this also. The data engineer is that person that builds the pipeline, that takes it from the data source and gives it to the data scientist. All right. So you see, that's exactly why there is a need for data engineers to ensure that data is constantly available for the data scientists and the data analysts and any other data user within the organization. So the job of a data engineer is just make data available. We need data to do this. Data is available. We need to do this and this and that and that. Data, we need data for this. The data must be available. It's the role of a data engineer. So moving data from point A, which is the data source, moving it to point B, a data warehouse, a data warehouse, a data cloud platform, whatever it is, okay? Essentially making data available for people. And now the most common process they use is called the ETL. It's called the ETL pipeline, okay? Extract, transform, and load. Now, if you even think about it, you understand. Extract data from where? The data source. Extract data from the data source, transform the data, and load it into a data warehouse. You see there, the data warehouse. So the data engineer is the person that is is working with the data source, extracting data from the data source, transforming the data, and loading it into the data warehouse. Now, the data scientist, life is easy now for the data scientist. So a data scientist is this person that does more of predictive analytics, all right? Machine learning, predictions, so on and so forth, that builds machine learning models, statistical models, and so on and so forth, in order for them to do what we call predictive analytics, all right? So that's where that's where the data scientist comes in, to now say, I've gotten the data. I need to be able to forecast our sales in the next 6 months. I need to forecast this. I need to predict this. Fraudulent transactions are happening too much. We need to avoid fraudulent transaction. Let's, segment our customers to see the ones that are likely going to commit any form of fraudulent transactions against those that won't commit fraudulent transactions, so on and so forth. That's what the data scientist does. So the data engineer is using Python and SQL to build what we call data pipelines, to just ensure that data is flowing from data source to data warehouse, to ensure that data is available, to ensure data is available for the data analyst and the data scientist. The data scientist is using Python and SQL to analyze and tell you do predictions, so on and so forth for the business. All right. To do predictions, use machine learning, statistical models to do forecasting, so on and so forth. That's the role of a data scientist. All right. So they're using Python. It's still the same Python, but they're using it for two different things entirely. Now, I'll take you through the data science hierarchy of needs. Okay, data science hierarchy of needs. A lot of people don't know this, and that's why you're here today. Data science hierarchy of needs. Okay, on the bottom, you have collect, where data is being collected. That's the bottom part of it, bottom part. Okay, data is being collected. So this is designed and implemented by what we call a data infrastructure engineer. Data infrastructure engineer. So along the line, this person will also have data architectural, data architect skills where you can build, data architects, where data is coming from within the organization, how the data should flow within the organization, and so on. So this person is basically that foundational person, all right, that builds the architecture of the way data flows within the organization. So you see the person, anything has to do with logs, sensors, point of sales, and all these things. It's the data infrastructure engineer that builds the infrastructure, that builds the architect. All right. So if you are using like a bank, you're using a POS. When you're using POS, how should the data flow? If you're using ATM, how should the data flow? That's basically designing that holistic, designing how data is being collected across the organization. Now, when the data is collected, all right, when the data is being collected, it is stored somewhere. It's not stored in the air. It's not stored, so it has to be stored somewhere. And where is this particular thing stored? It is stored in what we call database. All right, it's stored in a database. Now, the data engineer, their role is to what? Move and store. This one is to collect, just ensure that the data is being collected anyhow, from scanning, from sensors, from anything, external data from the web, data is being stored. All right. So that's the job of the data infrastructure engineer. All right. The other one is data engineer. Now, these ones are basically to move and store. Move and store, ensure that data is available for scientists and so on. Move it. So you see what we call, like I said, building pipeline, what we call ETL, structured and unstructured data storage. So when you mean unstructured and structured, it means that, organizations generate different types of data, structured and unstructured data. That's why I'm talking about big data. When you're talking about big data, one of the characteristics of big data is what we call variety. V for variety. So variety means structured and unstructured data. Now, what is structured and unstructured data? Basically, very simple. Structured data, they are data that can fit into a table. All right, that can fit into a table. All right. And if you've seen Excel, you'll know what the structured data is all about. Okay. A table basically means it has what we call columns. All right. And it has rows. All right. So a structured data is any data that can fit into rows and column. That's what we refer to as structured data. All right. Now, unstructured data, on the other hand, are data that you cannot put into rows and columns, that you can't put in a table. A perfect example is a picture. For example, you're working with Instagram, or you're working with YouTube, you're working with even what do you call it, mobile telecommunication, companies. All right. So these people generate what we call unstructured data. Take, for example, the picture you posted on Instagram, on Facebook. These are unstructured data. The picture cannot be put into rows and columns. It can only be added, it's just a normal picture. All right. So how do you store this kind of data? So unstructured data. So that's what we talk about, unstructured data. So this person, the data engineer, his role is basically to ensure data is moved and stored in the right place. Data is available for the data analyst, data science. That's their role. Data is available. Data is available for analysis, for metrics, for any form of machine learning. and any other thing initiative within the business itself. So move and store. Data what? Data engineer. Nothing more. Nothing like statistical modeling, nothing like algebra, nothing like mathematics, statistics, and all those things. Their role is to move and store data. That's their job. All right. Now you see the data analyst and the data scientist. Okay. All right. Their own role is to clean and anomaly detection and data preparation. All right. So this is where you need to, when you're working with Excel, Power BI, Tableau, and all this, there is a part for you to do preparation to clean your data. Even though the data engineer's role is also to clean the data, all right? So they share those responsibilities. Nowadays, you need to transform it. Literally, it is extract, transform, and load, all right? So you need to transform the data, all right? But, the data scientist can also still build on those transformation, all right? So adding a new column, like say you have the age of a customer, all right? You have the age of a customer, all right, just like what we just did, and you want to add a generation for those customers. So you are still transforming, you are still doing data preparation. So even though this data is clean, take for example, what we have here, all right, even though the data is clean, all right, even though the data is clean, the age is correct, is a number, everything is fine. I want to classify them into generation. This is also what we call preparation. You're still preparing your data. So that's exactly what we are referring to in terms of preparation. So you're still enhancing on the data that you have already. Okay, that's data preparation. Anomaly detection. So you have missing values, you have outliers, and all those things. The data scientists would work with that. All right. And essentially cleaning the data, cleaning anomaly detection and preparation. So that's what we call explore and transform. So as a data scientist, literally, you will be doing a lot of transformation of your data. All right. You'll be doing a lot of transformation, cleaning the data, ensuring the data is good for modeling, ensuring the data is good for visualization. You use the data, that's what you'll be doing, transforming and exploring the data. Now, the next part is building metrics. All right. Analytics, metrics, documentation, features, training, testing, and all that. So this is the point where you now start to build your analytics. All right. In data science, we refer to this stage as what we call exploratory data analysis. Exploratory data analysis. Now, it's at this point you start to do what we call, it's called EDA. All right. EDA. All right. EDA, exploratory data analysis. So there are 3 types of EDA activities you perform. All right. We have what we call univariate. All right, univariate analysis. Pardon my writing. Univariate analysis. We have what we call bivariate analysis. So the data engineer does not know anything about this. All right, and multivariate. So we have multivariate, bivariate, and univariate analysis. So at this point, you start to build all those metrics. All right, visualize, tell a story about the data, so on and so forth. This is the point you also start to do what we call feature testing, feature engineering, understanding the data and all that. So this is just you aggregating and properly labeling the data. All right. Now, this is now where you start to deploy, learn, and optimize. You start to do what? Build machine learning models. Now, what's a machine learning model? Basically, anything that mimics the human brain. All right. Machine learning basically is any machine learning, essentially, to be honest. All right. This is me breaking it down to layman terms. Machine learning is just trying to replicate human activity, the way the human think. It's trying to replicate it. Now, let me put it in a very simple context. All right. Take, for example, you have a small business, okay, that makes laptop. All right. It takes a human, probably like 5 to assemble a laptop. It takes them about 10 minutes to assemble a laptop. Okay, that's about 10 minutes to assemble one laptop. Now, obviously, as a small business, you have a demand, very small demand. You don't have a lot of customers. Let's say you have about 50, 100 customers on a daily basis. So you can get like 10, 15 people to do the work for you. All right. But as the business starts to increase, all right, as the business starts to increase, what would happen? You will start to get more demand. So let's say you move from 50, 100 to like 1,000. get the bigger space, you employ more people, correct? To be able to meet up with that demand. All right. Now, from that demand of 10,000, you now go to like maybe 1 million orders on a monthly basis, 1 million order. Now, how many people do you need to do you know how many people you need to hire in order for you to meet up with that 1 million demand? It's technically impossible. Its scalability is limited. All right. So what would you do? You will build a machine learning, you build a robot basically that will be able to replicate that human activity. All right. That will replicate and likely be faster than the human. So you see how the human couples it together. Bring the front, bring the back, bring the screw it here, screw it here, screw it here, screw it here, monitor the machine, build it so that it can replicate human activity. All right. So machine learning is very similar to that. Same thing with fraudulent transaction. Let's say you work in a bank. All right. You have the chief compliance officer in the bank. Let's say you started as a microfinance bank and you have maybe like 1,000 customer. All right. Very small microfinance bank. You can actually have a head of compliance that will be looking at every transaction that comes in. You'll be looking at every transaction before you approve. The human, that's chief compliance, must approve that transaction before as fraudulent or not fraudulent. Do you understand? All right. So this chief compliance officer understands when they see a fraudulent transaction. Now, as the bank starts to increase, starts to get new customers from 1,000 customers, they now increase to like 10,000 customers. How many chief compliance officers do you think they need to recruit in order for them to review 10,000 customers' transactions on a daily basis? It's impossible. So what would they do? You build a machine learning algorithm that will be able to understand what that chief compliance officer sees to detect this is fraudulent and this is not fraudulent. All right? Is you building a statistical model or what we call a machine learning model to be able to, detect, look at what demand detects and be able to learn from what the CFO, COO, Chief Compliance Officer, CCO, all right, what the Chief Compliance Officer used to detect as fraudulent. The machine learning algorithm will learn from the CCO and start to implement it. So take, for example, myself, it has happened to me. I moved from Ireland to the UK, all right, and, I did a very large transaction, all right? And immediately I did a large transaction, my card got blocked immediately. It didn't even go through, the card just got blocked. And I had to call like customer service the next day. Oh, I was trying to initiate this transaction. They said, oh, that was a system that blocked it off, all right? So if certain things lay down in play, all right? If certain things exist, all right? Shut down the card, all right? Freeze the card. And that's what, those are the things that they monitor, that they use to build. Because if it's a human person that has to go through every transaction, people will not make transaction. Transaction will not be fast anymore. Do you understand? So how do you replicate human activity into machine? That's machine learning. All right. So anyways, that's the job of a machine. That's the duty of machine learning. Okay, you building forecasts, you being able to predict what will likely happen in the next 6 months, down the years, and so on and so forth. That's what you'll be doing. All right, you'll be learning and optimizing. You learn and optimize. So A/B testing, look at this scenario, test out which one is better, which one is more efficient, which one is more easy to deploy, so on and so forth. And the last but not the least is the machine learning engineer. Okay, this is the person that is in charge of AI, deep learning, so on and so forth within the organization. So you see the two roles, data science, okay, and data engineering are distinct. They use the same tools, Python, SQL, but they use it for two entirely different activities. Data engineering, move and store, just move data from point A to point B, while the data scientist takes the data that the data engineer has provided and starts to build up on it to explore, transform, aggregate, and properly label the data. That's what we do. And also build, machine learning models for optimizations, so on and so forth. Now, which of these two career paths would you be interested in based on this explanation? All right. Which of these two career paths would you be interested in? The data scientist or the data engineer? Let me see in the chart. Which one of these career paths would you be interested in? Are you guys confused? Or you want me to? Okay, data engineer, data scientist. Okay, that's interesting. I love that. What? I need more data science, data scientist. All right, data analyst. Okay, that's good. That's good. Data scientist or data engineer. That's good. All right, data science is beautiful. Data engineering also fantastic. And let me just take you on a cruise real quick and show you, especially, I'm just going to show you that of the UK. So this is the read.co.uk, all right? And this site exists for every other person. You can check it out yourself. So the beauty about data science, all right? So I'm going to start with data science. I'm going to start with data scientist. Okay, all right. And see the salary for data scientists. We have 40 to 70 pounds. This is another data scientist role. This is data scientist 20 to 38. This is a very small company. If I look at this, all right. So we have another data scientist 50 to 60, data scientist 70 to 80, 35 to 45, 80,000. Let's take a look at this one. And let's see. So this one is just basically looking for, ML and predictive modeling. All right. Python, programming languages. All right, experience with Hadoop and Spark and all that. So let's take a look at another one. All the things that you're going to be learning will be covered in the training program. So let's take a look at another one. All right. So this is basically good knowledge of Python, data analysis, machine learning, Pandas, scikit-learn, all the things you'll be learning in the training program. Okay. All right. Demonstrate machine learning experience, supervised and unsupervised, like I rightly talked about. Fluency in SQL, experience working with large, complex, messy, and dirty data. Messy data, essentially, data visualization, like I spoke about. So these are the things that you'll learn also. And salary for this is what? 50 to 60,000 pounds. Now, let's take a look at data engineer, for example. Data engineer. Sorry, data engineer. Okay. So you see data engineer, we have 50 to 55. We have 500 to 700 pounds per day. We have 500 to 700 pounds per day, 55 to 75,000. These are all prices of data engineers in the UK. But you could also check out, when I'll show you where you could get remote jobs, okay, where you can actually work remotely and all that. So I'll show you that, okay, as we go on. So, I get the lot of question. How do I get started is the main question. How do I get started in data science or data engineering? Now, a lot of people are out there saying you can't learn this, you can't do this, you can't do that, but they never tell you how to get started. That's the problem. All right. So these training programs, the data science, the data engineering training programs are both for 3 months. All right. And it comes with 1 month free internship. They are both for 3 months, 3 months immersive and intensive training program. And it comes with 1 month free internship. 1 month free internship. Now, the training program, they are all online. They're both online, 100% online. Just the way that you are currently in your house, in your environment, sleeping and listening to me right now. These training programs are also online. All right. So at any point in time, you would have access to the training program and they are fully recorded. So even if something's happened, all right, in which we take note of that, all right, you can always, view the recording of the session and you have lifetime access to the materials and the experts. So the materials, the videos, everything from the platform, you have a lifetime access to all the materials. Now, the next thing is hands-on practical session with videos, exercises, and projects. Because one thing that gets you to get better as a professional is practical hands-on experience. Practical hands-on experience. All right. So that's exactly what we're talking about. So practical work and hands-on experience. So you building pipelines, you building machine learning models, you doing EDA, you writing scripts, Python script to extract data, automation, and all that. You would do that in data science and data engineering. So also you get the industry relevant certificates, 100% job feasibility will expose you to where you can get remote jobs, where you can apply for jobs. We don't leave you hanging. We help you get the next job, all right, in each of these career paths that you're going to be selecting, all right? So they're both for 3 months, like I rightly said, and it comes with 1 month free internship. All right. So looking at this data engineering, what would you be learning in data engineering? Okay. So you have introduction to data engineering, because obviously for people that are starting, people with no data engineering background, no data analysis background, those are the things that you will get started on. So no data engineering experience, no data science experience, you will be taught from scratch. So the introduction to data engineering, what's a database, what's the difference between a database, a data warehouse, data marts, data lake, delta lake, everything will be taught in the introduction to data engineering. What's a schema, the types of data architecture, normalization, denormalization, because you'll be working with a lot with the databases. So you need to understand the database fundamentals. All right. So we're going to be covering that. After learning that, you move to SQL. All right. SQL, the language of databases. After learning SQL, you move to what? Python. All right. You learn Python programming, using Python to write Python scripts, write function, build functions, optimize your codes and all that. You will also learn what we call Linux. All right. After learning Linux, you learn what we call Apache, building ETL pipelines. So this is the point where you start to build pipelines. All right. Python pipelines, data pipelines to move data from point A to point B. All right. So after moving that, you do also what we call orchestration and scheduling. All right. Building Python Airflow, what we call Apache Airflow. You'll be using Apache Airflow for automation. So, you're going to be building pipelines that is moving data from point A to point B. So you can't be doing that manually every day or every week or every month, all right, or even seconds, all right. You need to automate it. And how do you automate it? You use Apache Airflow for automation. So it's regarded as orchestration and scheduling. But essentially, you are automating your pipeline to run at a certain time, to run the way you want it to run based on dependencies and so on and so forth. All right. Now, you would also be learning AWS Cloud Engineering. AWS Cloud Engineering. You'll be learning this also. Last but not the least, you'll be working with version control, CI/CD. All right. You'll be doing version control using GitHub. All right. You'll be doing all this in the data engineering program. And these are all key technologies you need to get started in data engineering. All right, from introduction to data engineering to SQL to Python, Linux, API, working with API, web scraping, building ETL pipelines, working with Apache Airflow, cloud engineering, and GitHub. You'll be doing all this in the data engineering program. But you see, all these technologies that you're going to learn only amounts to 50% of what you get from the training program. All right. So all these technologies you're going to learn only amounts to 50% of what you get from the training program. Now, for data science, on the other hand, you start with statistics. Like I said, for data engineers, they don't care about statistics, mathematics, and all that. But on the other hand, for us data scientists, all right, what would you be learning? You'll be learning what? Statistics. So you'll be starting with what is statistics, why statistics is actually important. There are two types of statistics that we'll be looking at. Descriptive statistics are what we call inferential statistics. All right. These are very simple stuff. All right. So, for example, measures of central tendency. All right. What's that? Mean, median, and mode. Or because you need to use the lingo, it looks technical, but they are very easy and easy to understand. The next thing is Microsoft Excel. Microsoft Excel. You know Microsoft Excel for descriptive, diagnostic, and predictive analytics. So you use Excel to run predictions, to do predictions, forecastings, and all that. You will do it in Microsoft Excel. The next thing you're going to learn is Tableau. Tableau for descriptive, diagnostic, and predictive analytics. All right. So you'll be doing that in Tableau. All right. So what is descriptive analytics? Essentially, you do an analysis to tell a story about what has happened, diagnostic analytics to tell a story why that particular thing happened, and predictive analytics to do what will happen, what would happen in the future. All right. So Power BI is a business intelligence tool. All right. It's not a statistical forecasting tool. It's not a statistical tool. All right. So we're learning statistics and statistical tools. So Excel, Tableau are both statistical tools that you can use for forecasting, you can use for analysis and so on and so forth. That's why we're not covering Power BI in the data science program. So statistics, Microsoft Excel, Tableau, then you learn what? SQL. You learn SQL, all right, as part of the training program, like I said. Then you move to Python, you learn Python visualization, which is your EDA, all right. Then you move to machine learning, where you learn supervised and unsupervised learning, all right. And last but not the least, you do what we call computer vision. So computer vision essentially is you building an algorithm that would be able to detect objects, all right. This process, they actually call it object detection. So take, for example, facial detection programs, all right? Like the way I am currently on Zoom at the moment, you can see me, but you can see this. This is a background, all right? This is even the filters you use on your phone. So you go on Snapchat, you go on Instagram, you apply filters. Those are what we call computer vision, because you need to detect the face first in order for you to put the smiley face and all those icons that you put on the face. So essentially, all those are computer vision applications. All right. So, computer vision, you'll be learning computer vision, you'll be learning machine learning, supervised and unsupervised, data analytics and data visualization, Python, SQL, Tableau, Excel, and statistics. So you'll be doing all that in the full stack data science program. All right. Now, the new addition to what we are doing is working with what we call generative AI. A lot of people feel like AI is going to take their job. All right. But the earlier you know, the better for you. AI is supposed to enhance your work. A lot of people are saying, why do I need to learn coding now? Because AI can write code. No, there's no business that will just say that we don't need a data scientist. We're going to use ChatGPT, we're going to use GitHub Copilot to do everything. It's impossible. It's still humans that will drive these machines. All right. So as a data scientist, how do I use it on a daily basis? Take, for example, I am leading a team. For example, I'm leading a team and somebody calls me, oh, if you remember, we are trying to build this pipeline. Oh, if you remember, we're trying to do this at this point in time. Can we just do a quick meeting to see how we can resolve it? A quick meeting. All right. And I jump on the call and they're talking. I understand the problem. I understand what they want to do. I'm looking for a solution. Quickly, what do I do? Content, type it up. I have the code, I have everything. I try to come up with a solution that they could use, they could deploy immediately. All right. And I need something to optimize the code I have done. All right. So rather than spending, the next couple of hours trying to optimize the code I have written, what would I do? I'll put it on Copilot. I'll use ChatGPT to optimize it, and that's it. All right. But if I don't know how to code, or I don't even know how to even to understand the problem, all right, I would not know how to leverage these tools. So even if you're not a coder, you're not a programmer, you can never use ChatGPT to create solutions in the coding landscape. So essentially, we're going to teach you how to leverage GitHub, Copilot, your ChatGPT, and other AI tools, generative AI tools. We're incorporating into our curriculum because it's not supposed to take your job. It's supposed to enhance your work. All right. So, and I usually share this very, very brief experience. They gave a doctor, a surgeon actually, a surgeon and a robot to perform an operation, okay, to remove appendix from a human host, from a human host. All right. So you see the doctor performed the operation, the procedure, and got a 95% accuracy score. The robot performed the same operation, got 97%. All right. Now, a lot of people just feel like, okay, the doctor has lost his job. That's what everybody thought. But now combining the doctor and the robot together, they got 99%. All right. And that's one thing I tell most people. It's supposed to be a collaboration, not taking your job. The only people that will lose their job are people that don't know how to use that operation machine, the robot itself. So when all the doctors are learning how to use the robots, there are some doctors that will say that, I will use robot. No, do you understand? Those are the people that will likely lose their job because they don't have the required skills to leverage that machine itself. So, and that's why I keep telling people upskill. Recent technologies, don't take it for granted, upskill it. And that's why we're also incorporating it into the training program to aid your learning process. To aid your learning process. It makes it easy for you to learn, makes it easy for you to deploy, so on and so forth. So you'll be leveraging generative AI in your data science and data engineering career, your curriculum, to basically help you become a proper and well toned up, data professional. So your curriculum, your learning roadmap essentially is a 3 month training program. Like I said, you'll be working on projects. We are going to use projects to chase you, all right? Because honestly speaking, that's what recruiters are going to look for. What projects have you done? All right, tell me about the time you built a pipeline. Tell me about the time you built a machine learning model. Tell me about the time you did a forecast. Tell me about the time you dealt with, a cloud platform, using a cloud platform. They want to hear about your experience. And that's what we're going to be giving to you, working on projects within the organization. So you'll be building a lot of projects. All right. So after build, you see, it's 3 months plus based on classes. You have a capstone project. Even the classes is project based. You still give another capstone project after your program. You get a capstone project. Now, this capstone project is an end-to-end project. For data scientists, you'll be working on a full stack data science project that takes you through everything that you've learned in machine learning, computer vision, so on and so forth. The same thing with the capstone with data engineering. You'll be working on a full-fledged project that will take you through data engineering and cloud engineering at the same time. So it's going to be a full-fledged project. Then thereafter, you work on a virtual internship where you work. I will shed more light on virtual internship, okay? But you get 1 month free virtual internship, free of charge. Free, you don't need to pay for that. Now, virtual instructor-led classes, meaning that you have somebody in front of you that will be teaching you, all right? So you have industry leaders, people that have worked as data engineers, people that have worked as data scientists, explaining certain concepts in a practical way to you, right? So rather than you staying up watching YouTube and all this that you cannot interact with. So take, for example, you having a class and you're asking me, oh, why are we doing this? What's the essence? All right. See, those questions are very, very important because sometimes you just write a piece of code and you're like, why am I writing this? Why do I need to write this? Do you understand? So all those questions, why do I need to use NumPy, not pandas? Why do I, all those interactions, those little interactions you have with experts is exactly why our program is instructor-led. All right. A lot of platforms are moving to digital, to digitalize their programs where you can watch the recording and all that. But all our programs are instructor-led because that is what would ensure a beginner moves from beginner to intermediate and advanced level in those skill sets, asking questions. All right. Having a mentor to guide you through the process. Okay. So the classes essentially are weekends, Saturdays and Sunday. All right. So, and also we give out recruitment acts sessions for the program. Recruitment acts session, I'll explain that as you go on. So, I mentioned, learning the technical skills only amounts to 50%. Learning the technical skills only amounts to 50% of the training. All right. The remaining 50% is the soft skills. All right. First thing is your CV. So if you want to get a better job, anywhere you are, you're in Nigeria, you're in Ghana, you're in France, you're in the UK, you're in Canada, anywhere you are, you need a good CV. All right, you need a good CV. And we talked about machine learning. We talk about applications, replicating human activity. So, for application processes, we have what we call the ATS, application tracking system. So if your CV is not up to par to the job description, you get rejected. It got to a time I actually felt like people were waiting for me to apply for jobs so that they can reject me. Do you understand? But essentially, the ATS is an application tracking system that helps sieve out unwanted CVs. So if your CV is not up to standard, you get rejected. It's not a curse. It's not It's just the way it is. All right. So we help you review your CV. And even if you still get rejections, we work with your CV. We have that one-on-one relationship, all right, to get your CV into the right places and also get you working. The next part is LinkedIn optimization. LinkedIn optimization is one of the best things you can do for yourself. Trust me, because at every point in time, a recruiter would always check you out on LinkedIn. All right. Now, if your profile is not optimized, you'll likely not get a call. Now, if you check out your LinkedIn profile and you don't get what we call in mails, they call it in mail. All right. So if you don't get emails about job opportunities, a recruiter is trying to get a job, a recruiter is trying to get a particular is recruiting for a particular role, you don't get these emails. Your LinkedIn profile is not optimized. All right. If you have an optimized LinkedIn profile, recruiters would chase you. All right. So that's what we do for you. We have your LinkedIn optimized, okay, LinkedIn profile optimized. And it's just like Google. They have what? Search SEO, search engine optimization. So what they do with that, with search engine optimization, they make your website rank. So whenever they search for a particular keyword, they see you immediately. So how do you do that? Using your LinkedIn profile. All right. So that's exactly what we're going to do for you. Ensure that whenever they're looking for a data engineer, you're top of the list they are looking at. All right. When they're looking for data scientists, the same thing. All right. So that's what we do during the LinkedIn optimization session. Upwork optimization, freelancers, for people that want to work freelancers, people that are in the UK, people that are in Nigeria, you want to earn in dollars. That's essentially what we're going to be working on in the Upwork optimization session. All right. So Upwork, I'm just going to flash it to you quickly. All right. I'm not going to waste too much time on that site. I think I've showed you several times. So for newcomers, just go to Upwork, type in Upwork, and you see, find the best freelance jobs. For who exactly? I'm going to scroll down to D, and you see data scientists, you see, data analytics freelancer, you see data miner, okay? You see data mining, you see data scraper, you see database designer, all right? You see data analyst, data cleaning analyst, so on and so forth. So these are all fully for, data professional, data scientists, data engineers, and so on. All right. So you can check it out yourself at your own time. So we're going to get your Upwork profile optimized and get you into working freelance. Navigating the job market. Trust me, there are so many jobs across the world. So learning a tech skill, I tell most people, is you're learning a tech skill. It's not localized. It's not just for, I'm learning a tech skill for just to get a job in the UK or get a job in the US or get a job in Nigeria. It's a global skill that people are looking to hire for. All right. So, like I said, I've worked as a data consultant. I'm doing consulting nowadays. All right. And what am I doing? I'm working with friends across the world. A company in Canada, a company in the US, a company in this wants this. I am there to do that. Do you understand? So that's exactly what we're trying to tell people, that how do you navigate the job market? All right. You're a newbie, you're just getting started. How do you know where do I apply for these jobs? How do I search for this job? What keywords should I use in searching for these jobs? People who learn data science and only be searching for data science jobs. Meanwhile, there's 1,001 opportunities from logistics and scientists, from logistics analysts to supply chain analysts to business systems analysts that they can apply for, right? But they feel like, oh, I learned data science, I'm only going to stick to data science to search for data science. So what roles can I apply for as a data scientist, as a data engineer, so on? So that's what we do during the navigating the job market for new entries. For people that are just starting, we do that because essentially every issue that we face as professional is what we are imputing into the program to ensure that nobody faces that same issue again. All right. It becomes easy for you to transition into tech. All right. So recommendation letter and reference letter. Like I said, these are things that we issued we faced. I was trying to get a job back then, and I applied for a job. It was more technical. And somebody was the recruiter was asking me, can I get a reference from your previous place of work to back up the skills you said you have? Even though I had it, I'd learned it, but I never used it in an actual work environment. So, and that's what we do here for you to back up your experience. We teach you, we provide you with those references that you're looking for. So you can apply for roles. Apply for roles that have required 2, 3 years, 4 years experience. Don't worry, we're going to work with you to get you into those roles. All right. So that's the way we do the recommendation and reference letter. So even if you're trying to apply for your master's, your PhD, and it requires you to have a recommendation letter, we will provide you with those recommendation letter. All right. So the last but not the least is job and interview preparation. Now that's the sweetest part because you've gone through the training, you have a good CV, you have an optimized LinkedIn profile, you apply for a job, they like your CV, they like your experience, and they want to interview you. What's the next phase? You won't go there and go and mess up. We won't even allow you to do that. So you book an interview preparation session where we have mock interviews. We schedule mock interviews in order for you to prepare you for the interview. So obviously you've never done a data engineering project, a data engineering interview before. So what would they do? They would ask you questions around data engineering, okay? But obviously, how did you now answer those questions? How did you answer those questions is a key thing, all right? So situational based questions. Okay, tell me about the time you worked with you worked with Amazon Redshift. What did you go through? The steps you took and all that. How do you answer a situational based question? Tell me about the time you built a forecast and how you implemented it within the organization. Simple things like that. So how do you answer those questions? All right. For situational based question, we have what we call the STAR approach. STAR. And for tell me about yourself, we have what we call the SEAT approach. Okay. And we have so many other techniques that we use to answer questions during interview. If you don't know the answer to the question, what do you say? If they ask you if you have questions, how do you ask the questions? How do you prepare for the interview? That's what we do during the job interview preparation session. So everything is geared towards you landing your dream job in tech. Nothing more. Trust me, nothing more. In terms of preparation, in terms of training, literally the whole essence of doing all these things, even having a session this evening, is to educate, to tell you you can do it. You have people that have done it. We have people that have done it, that have moved, transitioned, gotten jobs. And that's exactly what we're trying to tell you. So weekly mentorship session also, because a lot of people would feel motivated, don't get motivated as often as they like other people. So they need people to constantly talk to them. And that's something we've noticed also. All right. So some people, because they are not easily motivated, all right, they lose track easily. That's why we have the mentorship session. All right. And even for people that are highly motivated, they get more motivation. So the mentorship session is basically geared towards getting you, giving you that faith that you can do it. So a lot of people have what we call, imposter syndrome. They feel like they're not good enough. They feel like they're not there yet. So we tell you, okay, that's where we have the mentorship session. Bring in professionals that also have, been in those situations before, and they guide you through the process of how they overcame what we call imposter syndrome or any other issues that you might be facing. So that's the mentorship session. So that's done every week also along the line of navigating the job market and all the things that we do. So these are additional benefits: CV review, LinkedIn optimization, Upwork optimization, navigating the job market, recommendation and reference letter, job and interview preparation, and last but not the least, mentorship sessions. All right. So the growth internship program is a 1 month free of charge. It's free of charge. All right. You don't pay for the internship. You can add the internship, that experience, you can add it to your CV. All right. 1 month of owning your skills and 6 additional real life projects. So data engineering, data science, you'll be working on all these projects together. All right. You'll be working on projects that will get you through all this. Okay. So project review with an expert, you will also get opportunities to review projects with industry experts, people that have experience, come to listen to how you did your project, tell you the best practice, what they're currently doing in the industry, so on and so forth. All right. So this all paired together will get you a very wonderful experience working on real life projects, so on and so forth. All right. Data engineering, what roles can you apply for? You can apply for, data engineer, business intelligence developer, BI, big data engineer, analytics engineer, ETL developer, technical architect, data science engineer, and what we call quantitative data engineer. All right. So these are some of the roles you can actually apply for. Now, for data scientists, on the other hand, all right, you can apply for data analyst, data engineer, data scientist, data architect, data analytics manager, machine learning engineer, AI engineer, and business intelligence developer. So there are quite a number of roles. These two roles can actually apply to. All right. So in terms of freelancing, you can actually work freelancing. All right. So work freelance as a data scientist, as a data engineer, and get work done. Okay. So the most popular places to get remote jobs, LinkedIn, like I said again, Upwork, Well Found, Indeed, Remote.co, so on and so forth. These are top places where you can actually get remote jobs. All right. Where you can actually get remote jobs. All right. So global demand for tech talent. We have Canada, the Canadian tech talent stream. Okay, global talent stream. Once you get a job in Canada, it takes 2 weeks for you to get your visa. So if you're looking at relocation, not just companies are willing to sponsor, but countries are willing to sponsor you also. All right, if you have the required tech skill for global talent stream program by Canada, all you need to do is get a job in Canada and you are good to go. It takes 2 weeks. 2 weeks is the fastest way, faster than even education. Education is even quite expensive on the other hand. The United Kingdom also has what we call the Global Talent Visa, all right, also for tech talent. Germany has the Blue Card Scheme. Singapore has the Tech Pass program. Australia has the Global Talent Visa. France has the French Tech Visa program, and Ireland has the Critical Skills Employment program. So if you're in Ireland, also get your tech job, get sponsored, and you're good to go. All right. So exactly what those are, quite a number of countries are looking for tech talent. And that's why we keep telling people that, not organizations alone are looking to get tech talent. Countries are looking to get tech talent. Now, let me read this report by IMF. According to the report by IMF, the tech talent shortage will swell to more than 85 million tech workers. 85 million tech workers by 2030. This, you can research it by yourself. It's available online. This is written by IMF. Now, countries are starting to see this and starting to attract tech talent. They are starting to attract tech talent. So when people say that, oh, I don't want to learn tech, everybody's talking about tech, I don't want to go with the flow, so on and so forth. It's a joke. It's a big joke because countries, not company, a whole country are building strategies as to how they can attract tech talent. All right. So as I keep telling you, I keep saying this here, skill yourself up. All right. The amount of opportunities you get by just upskilling yourself is remarkable, especially in tech. All right. It's remarkable. Data science, data engineering, we're talking about today. It's absolutely remarkable. All right. So we have partnership. We're currently working on partnership with top recruitment firms here in the UK, Age Recruitment, Manpower, Robots Arf, KDR, Sigma, Adecco. We're currently trying to see how we can partner with them to recommend our participants to these organizations when they're recruiting. So they recruit directly from our participants. Do you understand? So those are the things that we're working on at the moment. Facilitators we have for data science, data engineering. I'll be part of the people that will be facilitating the program. My name is Efimena. I've been the one talking all through the session. All right. Brahima also was, the one that started, she was the one that started the session. An absolutely smart, diligent professional. I absolutely, with the work she has deployed so far, experience so far has been absolutely, absolutely remarkable. So she has close to 5 years experience, deploying initiative across data science initiatives, not just in Africa, but she's worked for businesses across Europe, so on and so forth. All right. So data science, we also have Toma Ijatomi, also a senior data associate on data analytics. seasoned professional. She's worked as a business analyst, business systems analyst, data scientist, project manager, data analyst, and so on. She's also one of the professionals that have been working with you. All right. So for Kelvin Oyana, a very smart, diligent professional, also currently works as a data engineer with QDAX Canada. All right, it's a fintech company, and he said, I have spent the last 6 years helping businesses build optimal cloud infrastructure, performance data pipelines, and analytics solutions to power their analytics and ML/AI initiatives. All right, that's what we have done with Kelvin. All right. So data scientist, also Obina as a data scientist. And let me just read what he said. He said he has been instrumental in technical product support, all right, for flashing the digital and retail products, generating billions of naira annually and servicing millions of customers across one of Africa's largest banking brands. So these are people that have, built solutions that have worked and, they've done quite well for themselves in the data space. So we have Ibrahim Animashal, a machine learning engineer with Brian Dental UK. All right. Absolutely fantastic facilitator, wealth of experience. And the good thing is he's actually still a doctor. All right. So he's still a doctor, but it's specialized in machine learning, and is currently using machine learning in the healthcare sector. So you can see here, he created Bayesian toolbox to predict chances of survival in patients. So worked on, from COVID-19 to quite a number of initiatives that he has deployed, and is also going to be part of the facilitator for the session. So we also have Chinazam Akaha, business intelligence developer with DPD Ireland, over 5 years experience, hands-on experience. He's coming from an engineering background, and he has a strong mathematical and analytical skills, and also has a master's degree in data analytics. Also one of the people that will be taking you on the session. So we have, Iyaniwura Abdurrahman, absolutely sound professional, quite good experience working with one of the big four consulting firms here in the UK. All right. He has built multiple AI-driven use cases at different organizations, which covered increasing revenue, reducing operational costs, and so on. All right. So these are some of the facilitators that would be working with you on the program. All right. So I've seen quite a number of people sending me DMs already. How much is it? How much is the program? All right. So I'm going to tell you now. All right. So we have a course on the 1st of July, 2023. We have a course starting on the 1st of July, 2023. All right. 1st of July, that's next week, Saturday. All right. So data engineering is 450,000 naira. Data science is 320,000 naira. All right. Now, for people that wait till the end of the session, like I rightly said at the start of the class. So if you wait to the end of the session, I have a special offer for you. So that's why I did not say anything. So people have left now. So it's just us on the call, only us on the call. Don't tell anybody. Right. So I have what we call the early bird discount. All right. We have next. So the training program still starts on the 1st of July, 2023, 1st of July. But now, rather than you paying £500 for the data engineering program, you can pay £400. And the beauty about this is you can pay in installments, in 2 installments. All right. So first installment for data engineering, you can secure your position by paying £300, and the second installment by paying £100. All right. So, and if you're paying in naira, instead of paying 400,000 naira, instead of paying 450,000 naira, you can pay 350,000 naira. And you can pay in 2 installments of 250 and 100,000. You can pay installment of 250,000 and 100,000. The data science program is £300 in total, discounted. All right, £300, and you can pay in 2 installments of 200 and 100 pounds. And in naira, you can pay in 2 installments of you can pay in naira 270,000, 2 installments of 180 and 90,000 naira. All right. So you can make payments, you secure your position with the first payment. You can make the first payment to secure your position. All right. So, and the second payment, you can see balance up the second payment after 1 month into the program. 1 month into the program. So you have 3 months to be with us, and 1 month into the program, you can pay the balance of the amount. So that's exactly what we're looking at. So, and if you're outside the country, you can pay with the PayPal, or you could pay with Paystack, any one of your choice. All right. If you're in Nigeria or you're in Ghana, please use the Paystack. Or you're in any other African country, please use the Paystack to make payments. And if you're outside the country, all right, please you're in Canada, you're in the US, you can feel free to use the PayPal accounts. All right. So I'll be using this time to all right, I'll be using this time to take questions. So if you have any questions, all right, please don't hesitate to raise up your hand, and I'll be happy to take your questions. So if you have any questions, please just raise up your hand, and I'll be happy to take your question. All right. All right. So these are the account numbers. These are the Nigerian account number, and the UK account number, and the Nigerian account number for you to make payments to. So if you're looking to get started, all right, this program is started on the 1st of July, and I'm going to take you through the classes quickly. All right, I'm going to take you through the class. Okay. All right, so we have the Google Classroom. So we have the Google Classroom. This is where all the classes are being stored. Okay, so I'm going to take you through the data engineering first of all. All right. So I will show you the data engineering class. So you see, this is everything. So even if you miss the class, you will still have access to the materials. You still have access to the materials. All right. So even if you go through the training program, you miss a class, you still have access. So you see Introduction to Data Engineering, that's the first class. All right. You see the material is there. You have access to the material, and you also have access to the Google Drive. So that's the video, the recording of the session. This is Byron, one of the facilitators for the data engineering program. And he will be part of the people that will be holding your hands and guiding you through the process of becoming a data engineer. All right. So you see the recording is there, the materials are there. I'm going to go to Python class 2, Python. You see the materials are there. Let's take a look at the materials. And you see all they did in class, exactly see what we did, and they're learning Python, and they start to use it to build solutions for the business, they start using it to build solutions and all that. So essentially, you have the materials, you also have what? The video. So even if you don't get everything in class, you would still have access to all the materials and the video. So no matter how many times, nobody will say, like, watch it only twice. You need to watch it, continue to watch it. All right. So and you have full-time support. I'm going to show you the Slack channel for a full-time support for the team. All right. So you're looking at this, yeah, you see, take for example, data engineering 0 to see this data engineering. I'm going to close this thread up. All right. And you can see conversation with people having conversation. So currently they did Linux and Batch today. And you see the material posted here, engagement, talking, having conversation. If they have errors, there's almost, I won't say 24/7, okay? All right, because our people have to sleep also. All right. But essentially, this is exactly, you have an environment where people collaborate with one another. All right. So exactly, those are the things that you need to do. Data science, this is data engineering. You have your SQL materials, you have, materials, you have recordings, everything is there. You have your live class recorded. You also have supplementary materials to guide you through. Take, for example, SQL, watch me do it video. So take, for example, SQL class 1, and you have SQL, give me a second, watch me do videos, and these are the watch me do videos. So you see this, these are what we call watch me do videos. All right, they are short and easy for you to conceptualize, all right, to deploy, to use, all right? And that's basically what you will get from the sessions themselves, all right? So that's exactly what we're going to be doing, or that's what you will get from the training program. So that's data engineering. I'm going to walk you through data science also. So this is the this is the recent one. So this you won't get too much here because they've actually done a lot already. So that's they started this is the 2305. That's the March May quotes. All right. So you see what they've done so far. So they had a class today already. Today is Thursday. Today is Saturday. Sorry. So they have you see, Tableau Watch Me Do It video assignments. Okay, so they have a project, and two people have submitted, and we still have more people that are still looking to submit. And this is exactly what I like to tell most people. So you can see in this class we have 38 people, and the discount is only available for the first 20 people. So if you want to be part of the team, you will need to be, part of the first people to make payments, part of the first 20 people. All right. So you see, this is the Tableau Watch Me Do It video, all right? And you see the videos are there. So take, for example, let's take a look at what we have here, forecasting in Tableau, all right? So like I said, this is part of the reasons why Tableau allows you more flexibility in terms of you creating forecasts and all that, all right? So you see you're creating your forecast in Tableau and you have everything in there, all right? Everything is there, project based. So you have a project and you're using the tool to solve and answer the project itself. So you have Tableau, you have the same thing in Excel, you have the same thing in statistics. So from the first class in statistics, let's take a look at it. All right. So you have statistics class, and you can see introduction, stages of learning data science, so on and so forth. So how do you visualize categorical data? How to visualize categorical data, how to do your cluster. Let's take a look at one of these videos. Let's take a look at the Pareto diagram. So these are visualization that you might not be familiar with, but the program will teach you how to leverage it in data science activities. All right. So let's take a look at this, and it's going to show you all the things you need to know about building your Pareto diagram. And this is using Excel. All right. So people that say they know Excel, trust me, you're in for a lot of learning, even if you know Excel. All right, because it's going to be very detailed. So how to remove duplicates, how to work with data, how to visualize numerical visualization. Take, for example, the box plots. All right. How do you visualize the box plots? Okay, how do you visualize a box plot? What stories are you getting from using a box plot? This is Excel. This is using Excel to do all this analysis. All right, nothing more, nothing less. All right, and an extra add-on. So let's see what they did in class. So you see the dashboard in class 1. So this is the case study. All right, so you see this case study. Legacy Group is experiencing employee absenteeism, which is negatively impacting productivity and team performance. So how do you've been hired as a data scientist consultant to help Legacy Group better understand the factors contributing to absenteeism? So you see, this is literally week one, and they're solving this particular case in week 1. All right. This is what they come up with in week 1. So they have a group project, all right? Based on this particular assignment, based on this particular project, they get a group work. They get a group project. Now let's take a look at the group project, all right? You see, this is the group project, Blossom Bank, all right? Loan eligibility case study. All right, so let's look at it. Blossom Bank wants to streamline and automate its loan eligibility assessment process real time based on customer details. Now, you see, when they talk about case study, past case, okay, this is an actual case study that is being used for our participants. This is an actual real life project that we've worked on, all right? And we use it in training other people, because essentially it's a project that will get you understanding, that will get you to conceptualize, that get you to understand the concept, the theory. All right. So you see, you have been hired as a data scientist to analyze customer data and provide recommendations to improve the bank's efficiency enhance accuracy, so on and so forth. This is what? This is week 2. This is currently week 2. The project was given to them in week 2 for them to work in group. All right. So let's take a look at the recording. All right. Blossom Bank. This is Toma. I told you about Toma, one of the people one of the data science, the data associates that have been working with you. All right. So we have enough capacity within the team to ensure that you are always sorted out. All right. So you see, these are people's presentations. Let me put it in full screen so you can actually get to see actual people's presentation. Okay. And see what people are doing already in the second week. See what people are doing. All right. See another case study. This is by Usodima Uwoheka. All right. See people's visualization, analysis, their recommendation. So different groups, you can see the dashboard, you can see everything they built here, different groups. And this is just the second week. Second week, not third week, not fourth week. Not people will tell you, you can't learn this. You can't, but they don't tell you. And that's why, honestly speaking, we beat our chest anywhere we go to tell you that no matter how you say that you are a slow learner, you are this, you've not been with analytics. Do you understand? All right. So that's exactly what we are looking at. All right. So you can see another person. This is Darlington. Also, this is from Ghana. Also doing, fantastic work in their class. Absolutely diligent professional. So you can see this is a case study, and let's see the next presentation, see what they're building. This is literally the second week, guys. Second week. And you can literally see what these guys are doing. Telling them the number of customers, the yearly average balance, the customers' housing loan, so on and so forth, all the information they need to do. And let's see the recommendations they have, list of recommendations, the insight, recommendations, and eligible customer segments. Beautifully detailed. All right. So these are the things that you get from going through our program. All right. After I know I would want to do more, but the same thing with data engineering, they have projects, they have project work, they have all the things they need to learn. They have the mentorship session, the watch me do it videos, seed projects here for this. All right, project submission, you have projects, create a database schema. All right. So you see, these are the things it's projects that you need in order for you to get started in data engineering, in data science, project. So, those are the things you get. So, like I said, it's only available for the first 20. The discount is only available for the first 20 people to register. Only available for the first 20 people to register. Accreditation, we are accredited. In terms of what kind of accreditation are you looking for? We have a certificate that is approved by the what do you call them, by the board of accreditation. All right, and that's what we issue out to our participants that go through the program itself. All right, sorry, that's a drink. All right, so that's exactly. So I'll give people chance the opportunity to unmute themselves to ask their questions, and I'll just take a few questions and we can call it a day. The day is well spent. It's 11 already. All right. All right. Any question? Anybody have a question? Any question? You can unmute yourself and feel free to ask your question. I'll just take about 3 people's question. I'll call it a day. All right. All right. So if there are no questions, let me just walk you through something real quick. So you see, this is it. I've shown you these people. This is Adebisi, Idris Adebisi. So I can see. Korede, do you want to ask a question?
Yes, hello.
Yes, boss. How are you doing today?
Fine, I'm okay, honestly speaking.
Yes.
Let me say something. Honestly, I must commend your efforts, honestly speaking, because the simplicity of the program is one thing I really love with analytics. And also the presentation. I wouldn't know whether it's maybe you make use of PowerPoint or whatever, but I must tell you, with the way you have taught us tonight, with what I have seen personally, with those diagrams and all that, then it means if I enroll into the program, then definitely it will be simple as the way you really presented these things.
Yes, it is.
Now, my question now is, Now, the one I saw on Read, I wouldn't know whether it is readco.uk or readco.uk.
Yes.
Eh, those earning amount, the 40,000 pounds or 50,000 or whatever. Are you really sure that if one have this skill and my capacity is built towards, a data scientist, and one put in for this job, that is the amount one is expected to be paid at the end of the day? That's number
Okay.
one.
Okay.
Number two question. You said this that maybe when one enrolled into the class, that is to still know about the data, more about data engineer then and the data scientist. So I'm just wondering why one, the payment to be made for the training in data engineering class is more than that of a data science class. Is it applicable to when one register, I mean, not when one gets job, whereby the earning momentum too is always more than that of data scientist?
Okay.
I think you get my question. So
I
the
do.
second
I do. Absolutely. Yes.
two questions I have.
Okay, fantastic. First of all, thanks a lot for that, for the comment, for the kind words, your kind words for the session that we've been having. Absolutely. And so such kind words are the reasons why we keep doing the sessions. All right. Thanks a lot for that. So now the reasons why we have tailored all our programs has been tailored to suit industry standards. All right. So that's why we're always changing our curriculum. So if you check our classes the next couple of months, you would always see something new. And that's based on recent trends in the industry. So we never leave our curriculum, bland. Let me just put it that way. All right. So whatever so it's the salary expectation you see on the website, all right, on the job board that you apply for, that is the salary you're going to be getting. All right. That's the range of salary you're going to be getting. Now, it depends on your negotiation skills. Now, guess what? We have mentorship sessions where we teach you how to negotiate your salary. So let me just bring it up for you. All right. Because, seeing is believing. Because this is what we offer. This is what we tell our people. Because you need to learn how to see, this is our salary negotiation. This is what we go through our people. How do you negotiate for a high salary? So these are the benefits you get from when we're going through the training session. That you see, I didn't mention this session during the navigating the job market. So navigating the job market mentorship session, we talk about so many things. All right, from how to apply keywords and all those things. So we talk about all the things you need to know about getting your next job. All right. So those are the things that we put you through. All right. Those are like the key things we put you through. So yes, all the things you see on the website is what they are looking for, And how you now negotiate your salary, that's still up to you to a very large extent. So essentially, yes, that's exactly what they're looking for. Now, why is the data engineering slightly more expensive than the data scientist? Now, very simple and straightforward. The data science, the the mentors you're going to be getting on data engineering. Like I said, data engineering is relatively new. All right. It's not new. I won't say new, it's relatively new. All right. Compared to other data programs, data science, data analysts. The data engineering program is relatively new. For you to get somebody to sit down and help you, to train you, trust me, it requires a lot. All right. It requires a lot of commitment, a lot of, persuading, and also financial commitment also. So that's why it's slightly more expensive. All right. And data engineers are one of the highest paid at the moment in not just data ecosystem, in tech. Data engineers are one of the highest paid. So cloud engineers, data engineers, and the good thing about the training program is you get to choose, you get both words. So you can work as a cloud engineer and you could also work as a data engineer. All right. So those are the benefits of you going through the program. All right. So, like I said, it's just operational cost. of getting a data engineer to sit down and train people is quite expensive. Obviously these people are not doing it for free. In as much as we are trying to get more Africans in tech, all right, we are trying to push the narrative, to get professionals, people that have experience, because I can't be everywhere. I can't teach all the programs. All right, we need other people that would, push and help us, train people to get. So how do you not get a professional to help other people and you don't pay them? They will likely not give their best. So it's quite expensive to get a facilitator to, and that's just the honest truth. That's why it's slightly more expensive than the data science program. So that's just been being very plain. All right. And I hope you understand that. Okay. Paul, do you want to go next quickly?
Good evening. Good evening, Femina.
Yes, Paul, how are you?
I'm fine. Are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm okay. Doing okay.
Wow. See, I would say I don't know how to describe the kind of work you guys are doing. It's not just because benefiting, but I think the passion. And I understand that there's nothing you do that you don't want to have a gain or sort of, but the way you guys are going about it, every day I have attended like twice now. Every day I see more reason why I should be glued to either my phone or my system, in spite that things are not leveled yet to just put in for. But I have some few questions.
Yeah,
but just
sure.
know that you guys are doing fantastically well. In fact, you got me convinced, you personally, when you took up the class 2 days ago. There are classes you take as an instructor. There are words you use. There are how you are plain and straight to whatever people are familiar with. People believe totally in what you are doing. I got those things from your classes. So please, keep it up. I know whatever you gain for yourself, then God is the ultimate. You gain more.
Thank you
So
very
let
much.
me
Appreciate it.
let me just go straight. Sorry. For those who are in the banking sector, what channel of data or whatever would you advise them to go for? Okay, for instance, I am a civil engineer, so to speak. That's what I studied, but I work for a bank. So I've been caught in the web of do I even do the core business analysis that has to do with or just going to engineering and whatever. So, but I love to do data analysis first to start. But on a general note, I just want being somebody who is also contemplating to leave the bank and all of that.
All right. So
Hello?
you're looking, you're looking for something, something related to banking, data analytics, or are you just looking to, have a transition entirely into a
Yes,
new?
a transition, so to speak.
Okay, transition. See, to be very candid with you, in as much as that's the reason why we have all the session to sort of provide a lot of awareness, to be very honest. And thanks a lot for the kind words also. So it's based on interest. So we don't really like to recommend. And that's because, I might recommend today and tomorrow when you start to see that, oh, I don't like this. It's not something I actually want. So what we can actually do is to have a one-on-one session, all right, where I can talk to you and tell you exactly, you can put it in plain context, and I will tell you in plain context what each one of them applies to, and how you can see the way you can see yourself in the role, essentially. So we don't like to recommend, in as much as, we don't like to recommend. So if you're looking at data, all right, it's of 3 categories, and those are the training programs that we offer: data analytics, data science, and data engineering. So those are like the key things that we do. all right, that we offer people. All right. So if you're going to be looking at total transformation, total transitioning, any of these three career paths will suit you. And if you're looking for a one-on-one call where we can sit down, talk together, share experience, what are you doing at the moment? How does this experience, what place would you, tell me, how does this apply and all that? I will be willing to have that one-on-one conversation with you. All right. So please, you can just send any message on the WhatsApp group. If you're on the WhatsApp group, send a message to any of the admin and we can structure like a one-on-one session for us to talk together. All right. Let me take Justice. Please go ahead quickly. Then I'll take questions on the chat. Then we'll call it a day. All right. Justice, please.
Okay. Yeah,
yes.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, perfectly. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I think this is the first time I'm being online for a program, and I've said up to 2 hours plus now.
Well, thank you.
So, I think you're a good marketer too, because I'm not sure there's anyone that will hear from you and wouldn't be convinced to do or wouldn't be interested in the program. Seriously, like I got so engaged to the whole thing. So it's very nice. Thank you.
Thank you very
So
much.
I mean, on the other hand, I feel from everything you've told us about this program and everything, like for me, I feel it's so good to be true. Like the 50%, the training, the 50% on the other aspect. I feel if one can get all this stuff, like he's almost good to go. But I'm happy that you've assured us and reassured us too that that's what we are getting, that we are getting the full package once we enroll with 10 analytics, 10 analytics. Okay, yeah.
Analytics,
So yeah. So now I want to ask, like you were telling Paul now, right, about the one-on-one discussion or stuff. This is one thing like I'm really interested in, because most of us, we really need to hear from someone to really let us know this is maybe to still tell us like that route we are trying to take is the right place, or still give us more reasons. Some of us, you need to get more reasons to embark on that. So like
Yes.
me, I'm interested in the data engineering. And because before now, I was trying to see if I can move into cybersecurity, because I think I've done like some certification courses on that, like my CCNA and CompTIA Security Plus. But after listening to you, I think I'm not interested in the data engineering. So what I'm trying to say, because the WhatsApp groups is like, it's not open for us to send messages, it's only open for admin to send messages. So I want to know how we can get to have a one-on-one conversation with you. So in case we have important issues we want to discuss with you. Then another thing is experience, like here in the UK, although you talked about the experience, but in the UK here, like they keep that experience is so much important for them. Most of them will ask you for if you have up to 2 years experience and all that. So for someone that's just joined and you just did the 3 months program training and you're good. So how do we cover that experience for because I know many of them, that experience is very good for it's very important to them. It's because
very important,
I know so that's another thing. Then is your degree important, like if you're a degree holder or not, or is just the certification enough to cover it? Thank you.
Okay. All right, that's a very good question. Degree, that's the last one. So let me take the last one first, then I'll take it in that regards, in descending order. All right. So degree, to be very candid with you, 0. All right, absolutely very big 0. And it's very painful, okay, because quite a number of Nigerians and Africans are relocating to get advanced degrees. Fine and good. So people want to say yes, it's because of they want to get it for just to transition. But to be very honest, my master's program, I have a master's in data analytics, and I'll tell you confidently, I would train. I would train the people that taught me data science back then. All right. So your master's is not, it's profit center for these schools and universities. So it's not going to get you up to par. All right. So I know people that have gone through our program that used the program to run their masters. So, somebody on the call was saying he's going through his data science program at the moment, all right, in the UK. And I will tell you categorically, if you go through the data science program, you will literally use the program to build your thesis, your project, your assignments, and all the things that you're going to be working on. Because masters are usually self-paced. Okay, they're self-paced. They're not. They will make an assumption that you have experience, and it's just going to be all over the place. Essentially, the grade is not important. All right, that's a long story short. So the thing that's important is what you said, which is the years of experience. Experience, not even years of experience. Experience is what they're looking for. All right. Now, I like to share my own personal. I think I've shared it before, but I would just like to share it one more time. I have quite a number of them, but let me see if I can share something else this time around, actually. So I'm just going to go to my GitHub profile, GitHub. Okay. All right. And this is one from BBC. This is one I applied for personally. So I applied for the program. The task involved analysis and manipulation of BBC data using Python programming language, blah, blah, blah. This is the project I worked on. So I applied for this role. It was a senior data analyst role with BBC here in the UK. All right. They were looking for a senior data analyst. And you see, they gave me this project. Now, this is not based on school. This is not based on education. This is not based on, if you have a data analyst, see the project attached. No, they will have that conversation. Do you have experience? Can you tell me about the time you did this, and walk you through that? After having that conversation, they give you a project. Oh yeah, you said you can do this. Yeah, come and do it here for us. All right. So that's exactly what I did here. So you can see in this task, we would like you to analyze, manipulate data using programming language of your choice, SQL, R, Python, and share your findings about BBC iPlayers. So exactly, they give you the data, start to work with it. So essentially, that's what you'll be getting during the program. All right. And you can see this is what I did for the project. And essentially, basically it is a bit of data science, data engineering, data cleaning, and uploading to a database. So you see, loading metadata, user data, and web data into Postgres database. All this four loaded successfully. So you're not going to be learning from people that don't know how to do these things. This is what we have done, that we are doing. All right, that would be using to train you to get started in your own desired career paths. So essentially, it's experience people are looking for. Unfortunately, let me see if I still have any other personal projects that I would like to showcase. Let me see. All right. Facial recognition systems. So these are all projects I worked on personally. All right. So, anyways, these are projects that you will get to work on. All right. And people are only looking for people that have experience, nothing more, not people that have advanced degrees. So essentially, that's the funny thing. So with experience, there is a way we walk around experience with analytics with our participants. So that's what we do during the CV session. All right. There are ways you tailor your CV that we're going to help you tailor your CV. So you don't have experience, there's a particular way you tailor your CV. You have 1 year you don't even have any experience. Majority of people that are starting, you don't have experience. All right. So how do you leverage your previous experience to show that you have a track record? All right. So there's a way we work it out within the team. All right. Within the CV review session, that we tailor your CV to get what you are looking for. All right. So if they're looking for 2 years experience, you get it. 3 years of experience, we'll work it out for you and all that. All right. That's you reviewing the CV. We working on your CV and adjusting it and getting exactly what you're doing. All right. So essentially that's it. So for the one-on-one session, please, on the group chat, you can actually send the admins a message. So you might not be able to send messages on the admin, but you would be able to send the admins themselves a personal message. So select any of the admin, all right, and tell them you want to speak to a female, all right? Tell them you want to speak to a female and we'll schedule it for a call. We'll have that one-on-one conversation and, we are good to go, all right? So Justice, I don't know if I've answered your question. All right, Justice is muted. Can't hear him.
Yes, you have. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, okay, all right, thanks. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. All right, cheers.
All right.
All right. I can see some question in the chat. I'm going to just take those questions quickly. So a full stack data science different from data science. The reason why we call it full stack is because it's end to end. It's an end to end solution. So people will teach you just Python, but that's not it's not enough. Trust me, it's not enough, and that's why we have the full stack data science program. All right, because it's going to take you end to end. So different organizations they are at different levels. All right, and that's me coming from like I said, the reasons why we develop these curriculums, the program is based on personal experience, based on industry standards, and based on what's current recent trends in the industry. So the reason why we call it a full stack data science is because different organizations are at different adoption level in data science. So you're going to work in some organizations whereby it's only Excel they're using. So how do you now use Excel as a data scientist? So to perform descriptive, diagnostic, and predictive analytics. How do you use Excel to carry out all these activities? You'll learn it in program. The same thing with Tableau, all right? So if they're using a visualization tool like Tableau, you can also use it to perform descriptive, diagnostic, and predictive analytics. Descriptive analytics is basically what has happened. You analyzing data about what has happened. You analyzing data, diagnostic, why did that particular thing happen? And predictive, you making a forecast, you predicting what's likely going to happen. So why did that thing happen? No, what happened? Why did it happen? And what will happen? So those are the things you learn in Excel and Tableau. All right. Thereafter, you move into SQL. From SQL, you enter into Python, machine learning, so on and so forth. So it's not just you learning Python. All right. It's you learning other technologies that you could use to perform descriptive, diagnostic, and predictive analytics. But I think full stack data scientist is a combination of both data analysis and data science, so to a very large extent, yeah. But you're not doing business intelligence. You're doing more of predictive analytics. So data analysis is more focused on building intelligence, all right? Data storytelling and building dashboards and all that. You would learn how to do dashboards in data science, all right? But essentially, that's what they'll be doing more. So they'll have, just a step further ahead of you. All right. So I'm interested in data engineering. My background is credit management. I am a chartered accountant. Can I keep up with the workloads involved in the program? Are you a bit shaky? Or should I start with the data analysis first as I am familiar with the tech environment? See, one thing I tell most people is determination. All right. If you say you want to do it, trust me, you will do it. And that's because we have a wonderful team, all right, in-house that would literally hold your hands and guide you through the process. So we have data associates, we have coordinators, and we have facilitators. So the reasons why we have this ecosystem is to ensure that at every point in time, somebody is there to assist you. All right. So regardless, you take data analytics, fine, you will still get assistance. You take data engineering for a start, it's still the same level of assistance you're going to get. The only part is your level of commitment. So if you cannot commit to doing 30 minutes every day to read something, to read or to write something, you want to transition, and you cannot dedicate 30 minutes every day, 31 hour to do an assignment or project, then it's going to be challenging for you. All right. So, but if you can take out time to practice and learn, do assignment, do projects, communicate. Oh, I'm having this issue. I can't see this. I can't do this. I can't do that. There's always going to be that level of assistance, all right, in-house. So exactly what Brahima said, we'll be having clarity session that would communicate via the group and we're recommending, for better understanding. So trust me, we have quite a number of, in-house initiatives that we deploy to ensure that you are not lagging behind. Only if the person wants to lag behind by himself, but most times we will still drag you until we cannot drag the person anymore, all right? What if there is no project to work on at a time? I don't understand what you mean by that. And there are usually projects to always work on. Yes, we always get you projects. You're always working on one project. You will never, throughout the week, throughout the 3 months you're going to be with us, is it a project, an assignment, a group project, or a presentation? Something's always going on. You would always have an activity. So like I said, Power BI is not a part of the curriculum because it's business intelligence. It's not data science specific. All right. So you can't use it for statistical forecast, statistical modeling, and all that. So business intelligence is not the same thing as statistical forecast. So that's why you don't have that's why you don't have Power BI as part of the curriculum. Data analytics, data engineering. I'm very much interested in data engineering. My field is agricultural engineering. Fantastic. Now, can this be useful? And we in Nigeria, can we? Absolutely. The reasons why we started the data engineering program, I'll just tell you briefly. So we had a participant that went through the data analytics program, all right, and got an offer, not an offer, he got an interview, called us to do interview prep with him for the data engineering program. But because they were looking for, he had some of the skills, all right, but in terms of orchestration, in terms of building code base, in terms of having its repositories and all that, all the things it required, it wasn't very solid. All right. And he missed out on that opportunity. And guess what? That opportunity was paying him. Base pay was $1 million. All right. Base pay was $1 million. And it was like, if you guys can start data engineering, okay, I wouldn't mind. And guess what? This guy started in January. All right, and currently works as the data engineering lead, all right, with one of the insurance firms at the moment. Salary is not up to $1 million just yet, but the guy is over 800,000 at the moment in Nigeria. So quite a number of firms in Nigeria are looking for data engineers. All right. So even if you're in Nigeria looking for a company in Nigeria to work with, there are tons of companies that would also recruit you. All right. We have one of our facilitators working with InterSwitch. I have another one working with AB in Dev. All right. And these guys are telling us, how much they're looking for data engineers in the company. This is multinational companies. All right. So there are quite a number of jobs, that you can work with. When you get a job, when you get a job, there's always going to be one project you're working on. Trust me, they won't be paying you big money enough for you to work. There will always be one project for you to work on. Trust me. All right. With this training, can I work remotely from Nigeria? Absolutely. Absolutely. That's like one of the target things. And that's why we have the Navigating the Job Market to tell you more about job opportunities. And I would like to show you one place. All right. And just because of time is almost 11:30. It's almost too late already. So let me just quickly show you Well Founded. This is just one of the most common places you can actually get remote jobs. So find your next job. These are all fully remote roles, all right? And I'm going to come here to search for, you see, data and analytics job. These are fully remote jobs, all right? Senior data engineer, Oracle data engineer, data architecture. These are all data and analytics roles, including data science, data analytics, so on. But you need to register in order for you to get access to all the job roles and all that. So just go to Well Found. You also have remote.co. These are common ones. There are other ones that are not exclusive that I will not show you here because I don't want you to say that. I don't want you to take it somewhere else. So these are now remote.co, all right, where you can get remote jobs, fully remote jobs in the US. So let's click on remote jobs, all right? And you can see, let's go to remote data entry. You can see data specialist, senior data entry associates. We're looking for more of data analytics and remote roles. So let me just search for, let me see. I'm going to say data search. All right. And you can see anything related to data roles, load more listings, and you see all things that has to do with data science, data engineering, so on and so forth. All right. So they're even LinkedIn is another very good place to go to. LinkedIn. All right. So LinkedIn is another very, very beautiful place to go for. All right. Let's go to jobs. I'm going to go to, you see, I did the HR side, the HR analyst roles. And you say, I just sent you this evening, and we have 6 new roles applied for the US. So let's try data engineer in the US, data engineer. All right. So I'm going to take United States. All right. And you can see data analyst / engineer, data analyst / engineer, Wells Fargo. These are all big firms. Now, but anyways, I'm only looking for remote. This is both full-time and on-site. So once you come to here, you see on-site / remote. You select remote and you see 1K plus. Click on that. And you see data engineer. These are all remote jobs in the US currently for data engineer. All right. I'm just going to let's take a look at the first one. All right, master's degree, that's nonsense. Say, or related field, 1 year experience in each of the following: analyzing large data set, multiple data sources, programming languages, Python. You see Python there. All right, SQL, Python or SQL, developing analytics and reporting methodologies using SQL, SES, or Python. So all these things, the key technologies is what you'll be learning. So let's take a look at another one. All right, so this is also SQL. You work with SQL, modern data stack. You're working with basic knowledge of that's familiarity with data visualization and reporting tools and all that. So these are not data engineering roles. So these are all remote jobs in the US that you'll be working with. All right. So this was looking for two years experience, previously designed and built data platforms. All right. Intimate experience working with various data technologies. We spend most of our time Python, SQL, and AWS. All right. See this one tailored very well to the, a history of designing systems and approach, and an appreciation for challenges and optimization, blah, blah, blah. These are all remote roles, and see how much they are willing to pay. 140,000 to 180,000 for a fully remote role. All right. So, these are and it's not just United States that you have to stick with. You might decide to say, okay, do you know what? I'm looking for a new role in Australia. All right. I want to look for Australia. These are all remote jobs, data engineering in Australia. So if you finish US, you move to Australia. From Australia, you move to where again? You move to New Zealand. From New Zealand, you move to Ireland, to UK, so on and so forth. And these are, the work. And that's why I keep telling most people, the skills you learn, they are global tech skills, not just Nigeria. It's not just you time yourself to Nigeria to say, I've learned my skills in Nigeria. And these are just places you can apply to. So from Australia, you can go to New Zealand. You can see in Australia and New Zealand, okay, and you see all the data engineering roles you can actually get. All right. So the same thing with data science is literally the same thing. Just search for the keywords, and it's all the data science you can get to job as data analyst, business systems analyst, operations analyst, and all that. You can actually use data science and all that. All right. Thank you very much, guys. It's a day well spent, but I enjoyed myself, and I'm happy you enjoyed yourself. Thanks a lot for the kind words. But one last thing, the program is starting on the 1st of July. If you want to be part of the first 20 people to register, please, I get a lot of people sending me messages later to say that, oh, the slot is filled up. Can I still pay the discounted amount? It's usually very painful to say no. All right. But please ensure you pay the discounts. All right. Why there's still an opportunity for you to pay the discounts. All right. I really want to see you guys in the session, and let's see how we can grow together. All right. And you see the wonderful things you'll be doing in 1 week into the program, even less than a week. You see what you'll be doing once you get into the program. All right. For a legal professional, any one of them, honestly speaking, anyone. And if you are not happy with anyone, you can schedule a one-on-one conversation and we can have a one-on-one call. So Ahmad, please just schedule a one-on-one call. I'll be happy to talk to you, understand where you are, understand what you like, your dislikes, and how those things can actually, work with you. All right. So just go on the WhatsApp group and tell any of the admins that you like a one-on-one session with Ifemena, and we'll schedule for a call. All right. So on or before Monday, you should get a call from us, or you get like a schedule from us. All right. So please, guys, classes start on the 1st of July. thank you very much for joining the session and staying to this late. I really appreciate you taking out time for everything. All right. Thank you very much and have a wonderful night rest. Cheers, everyone. Cheers. Good night. Good night. If you enjoyed yourself, can you guys say yeah, yeah? And let's call it a day.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Bye, guys. All right. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Okay, I can see the chat. Thanks a lot. All right. Cheers, bye.